Welcome to the Gilded Flask, where adventure is never far. Glad to have you as our guests. My name is Barry. I will be your dungeon master for this campaign, and I am joined by three lovely people. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Anne. I'm playing Kala Lilacott, the inquisitive halfling College of Spirits bard.
I'm Daniel. I'm playing John Verenthall, the human paladin of midnight.
And I'm Marissa. I am playing Casariel Silverbrow, beautiful ASMR cleric.
If you've never visited our place before, and you probably haven't because this is our very first recording, we post weekly recordings of our playthrough on the Curse of Strahd, and soon we'll make our way to Twitch. If you're curious about that, please check out our socials in the description below, or go to thegildedflask.com for all the links. As we are still relatively new, we don't have any sponsors to shout out just yet, but we do have a couple of awesome people that we want to give some credit for helping our vision to come alive. First off, Dchandra and Paradox for creating our amazing character art. Next to that, Pyram King, James RPG Art, and DM Andy for creating the wonderful maps and content that we will be using alongside the other art. And finally, Tabletop Audio, Scott Buckley, Phoenix Music, and Alexander Nakarada for the great musical scores that we'll be using through this campaign. There will be many, many more people to add, but these people already deserve a legendary shout out for all the amazing quality they've been putting out. Check the credits at the end of the video for the full list. And with that, let's head into the tale.
Tell me, do you like ghost stories? I've been investigating people vanishing mysteriously into the night, never to return. It looks like I've found out where they've been.
Good evening.
I don't like this place. The air feels heavier.
Did you hear that?
What do you mean he's watching?
In this place, nothing is what it seems.
We come from an ancient land.
There's no time for this. What are you looking for?
This place has taken my father and my mother. It will not have me.
We gotta move, now.
Oh, I do love a good mystery.
Barovia is mine, and so are you.
Wonderful. Welcome. So, do we have a story to tell you? The story of the land of Barovia. It is a story fraught with danger and darkness and lost hope and an unforgiving tale which is shrouded in mystery. For our adventurers, however, their tale starts with a little bit more frivolity, if you will, because they find themselves at a party.
Check.
In the town of Daggerford, just east from the city of Waterdeep, the Duchess is holding her yearly grand soiree at Daggerford Manor. And as usual, the high society of Daggerford is invited, as well as one or two special guests to liven up the gathering. This year, that honor of that special guest invitation was sent to Zaliria Leolin, the priestess of the High Moon of the House. Of High Moonlight, of the House of the Moon. The sun is setting over the shore of the Sword Coast, and as a personal detail of Zaliria, John and Casariel are joining the priestess en route to the manor. looking at the outer gate of the manor, you spot a rather small character energetically interacting with one of the guards at the entrance.
So, I'm here on official business from Lavender Cobblepot. You know, she's of the Violet Gazette, chief of editor. She has actually sent me so that I can go in and just get the scoop on the party, make sure everything is okay, you know, in the world of mystic and magic. So, you know, I'll just be on my way, Carla says as she tries to, like, pat the guard's shoulder and walk right in.
The guard just grabs you by your arm and pulls you back and says,
Oh, that's not... please.
I didn't see an invitation.
Oh, well, where did I leave that? And she starts rooting around in, like, her coat pockets, and, like, various pieces of paper start flying out. And she is going to produce a piece of paper. And, okay, hold on there. She's going to produce a piece of paper, and... Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Okay, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I'm going to try to stealthily cast Minor Illusion to mimic sort of a general regal invitation to this ball. on a piece of paper. I'm rooting around, and as I'm rooting around, that's when I'm sort of casting the spell. I'm like, okay. Like, whispering the words of it, and... So, is there a rule for that?
Sure, give it a sleight of hand. Let's see what happens. First roll of the game.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Uh-oh. That'll be a 10.
A 10. Okay.
A 10.
Average. That's average. That's okay.
Average, yeah.
So you pull out a piece of... I would imagine this is just like average, like just a piece of parchment, right?
Yeah, just she has a bunch of stuff stuffed in like her thing. This is a piece of parchment that she was going to write her like findings on, but she's like now produced it there.
Awesome.
Just average.
Describe to me what's written on it.
Cordially invited to the party at Daggerford, Miss Carla Lilacart, as requested by Lavender Cobblepot, of Chief of Editor of the Violet Gazette, very official business. That's what it says. And there's a couple of like flowers at the side. There's like regal script. It doesn't look particularly well. It's a rush job.
Very important.
Yeah, it's a rush job. She didn't have time to think about it.
There you have it.
All right. As a quick in between, one of those things that you do when you start a campaign is like, you know, you're just laughing, you're waiting for the recording to start, and you're just joking around. You get your dice, and you just do like one dice roll to see what the day is going to be, right? So everyone is like, oh, I got a 19. I rolled a 1. You know, starting the campaign, it's great. This is bad juju, right? So for the campaign, first roll.
1.
Those campaigns rolled a 1.
Wow, lovely.
Let's go.
Let's go! Don't have to waste a spell slot. Let's go!
That guard forgot his glasses that morning. He's like, yes, this looks fine.
He looks over at the paper and he's like, this is, and he looks over at you and then back to the paper and he says,
It's an
Ma'am,
exclusive invitation.
I don't know how you got this. I don't believe, for one, it's even got the official flowers on it. Like this. And he looks over to the guard at the other side. Bob, this is... I can't... Maybe they're trying something different this year, I guess.
You know, press have different invitations in many different places. I have gotten such regal invitations that are so different than everyone else's at other parties, because I'm... You know, it's a different type of business.
Bob on the other side looks over, leaning on his halberd, and is like, I believe that's true.
I'm gonna see what's happening up here as we approach, and I recognize Carla, and I'll look to John and say, John, don't you want to go ahead and announce our presence? I'll stay here with the High Priestess.
And John's gonna look around, just make sure there's no threats, and he's just, sure, I guess. Okay, and he's gonna make his way a little bit ahead of the group. The Lady Zalaria, is it Zalaria? Zalaria? What's her name?
Oh, I just want to make sure. Is that an OC
I'm
question?
talking
or
to
in
you.
character
You, yeah,
question?
you. Out of character.
That's totally a John thing, right?
No, in character, he
Zolaria.
stumbles over it.
The
And
High
she goes-
Priestess of the Priestess of the Moon.
Yeah, High Priestess of the Silverstar, Priestess of the Moon, Zolaria Leolin. God, I've never learned her name right.
I mean, he's clearly trying to sneak in.
The guards look up at like you as a group, and as accustomed, usually when high society and whatnot approaches, they're either in a carriage or they have a detail with them. Like that's how you recognize someone who's invited. So they immediately sort of stand up a little bit more, like they're on duty. They say, "Approach."
Come forth, Milady. He's gonna continue, like he's sort of gonna look up and down the guards, like just make sure that they're not threatening them in any way.
Right. Zolaria will come up. And Zolaria will look over to Casariel and say, "Could you please produce the invitation?"
Me, High Priestess? Hello. So good of you to come. You should come in with us. As
I
I'm
think
getting
that would
up.
be a fabulous idea. And I sort of like strut up next to her and like look up at like the very important people and take
So
back my
you're-
own invitation.
You're
They're
like
kept
half
prepared.
size of them, right? Like, because
Oh yeah, I'm tiny.
Yeah,
I'm a small person.
how tall were you again?
3'4".
Yeah, no. So this is like a group of big people with a kid. Lovely. Okay.
All right, I will
Casariel.
present
Okay.
the invitation to the guards.
To which guard do you give it?
I will give it to the guard on the right. He's directly in front of me.
All right. He takes your invitation and looks at it and he says, Leolin, yeah, we heard that name before. And he notices that the stationery of the paper is like wholly different than the one that Carla was handing him. And he's like, that's peculiar.
What is your
It's
name?
almost the same invitation, but it does look different.
What is your name? Yes.
Me, milady?
Yes, your name. What is it?
Eric Dartmoor, ma'am.
Eric Dartmoor. Eric, I should hate to be the guard that didn't allow the High Priestess of the Church of Saloon into the party. So, if you don't mind, be a good lad.
He looks over at Bob, and Bob is just like, he's standing there and being like, by all means, ma'am. Please go through.
Thank you,
Are
Eric.
you gonna accompany them?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
I want to accompany them, and I'm confidently walking beside Casariel as if there is nothing wrong with this.
Perfect. Love it.
Sean's sort of just
Alrighty.
like rolling his eyes because he remembers her and he just remembers that she was a hassle.
Nice to see you again. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
So while you move forward, first time using Foundry, everybody. So I just want to make sure that if I reveal areas that it's actually visible to you. Is this visible?
The
Yes,
front
it
hall
is.
is, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, then I know that this is the right tool,
Mm.
and we can continue on. So the front hall is. You can move forward if you want.
All right. So John's essentially going to sort of take the lead in front of the Zolaria. Just make sure that nothing's. He's not used to guard detail. They've Casariel and John have, run other missions, but he's taking it seriously. Is the
And
door
I'll stay
open?
behind.
There we go.
I'll take
It is now.
the rear, as it were.
So how far can I move up? Or I'm just going to move up as far as I can, essentially.
Yeah, the doors are operated by the building itself has two golems in them that actually work automatically if you approach the gate and you're not halted by the guard. As you approach, the gates will fly open.
Okay. So he's just going to keep walking forward until they've reached the next set of doors, essentially.
All right.
I imagine as Casariel starts to take the back, Carla's going to try and weave her way a little closer to Zolaria.
She's going to be like, pleasure to meet you. I believe Lavender was telling me a little bit about you. You are a rather important figure. What brings you here tonight?
She says as she looks at you, she says, excuse me, who are you again?
Carla Lilacott, Carla Lilacott of the Violet Gazette. I'm a reporter. Pleasure to meet you.
Charmed.
I'm sorry, ma'am. She's apparently one of the locals of Neverwinter. If you want to come make your way into the hall, not now.
Actually,
someone.
she has been quite useful to us on some missions. She's something of an expert in the supernatural.
You're too kind. Yes, I am. And I'm, tonight is not really supernatural business, but I am quite interested at the people who are at this party, including yourself. So if you hear anything interesting or you feel like a chat, come find me.
Of course, she says. Like, she's a bit like taken aback. Like, this usually doesn't happen. People don't address her immediately like this. So
She's just a person. Yep, past
Carla,
that. That's.
Wouldn't
Yes.
you accompany me? I would like it
Absolutely.
so much.
Yes, right this way, lady. He's
second
gonna-
door flings open as you approach it, and hang on. Obviously, you guys want to see what's beyond that. You can see into the courtyard, which leads up to the entrance of the mansion.
All right, I'm gonna
As you
walk with
approach,
her.
a
Okay.
subtle music can be heard in the air.
I hear it. Welcome. Lively, I like it.
Welcome, Matt. Yeah, it's
Very cordial bunch they have here. Right this way, ma'am. And he'll lead her
Before
all
we
the way.
go in,
Mhm.
right. The doors are closed.
You said before we go in?
No, the doors are closed.
Right. So in this moment, is it considered socially acceptable to open the door and let her in?
You're standing in front of Daggerford Manor. I'll leave it up to you whether or not that is acceptable.
All right. I'll knock on the door and say, Lady Zalaria Lealin, High Priestess of the Temple of the Moon.
Wonderful. One of the doors open, and a very elderly gentleman steps out, dressed in a wonderful black garment with a white shirt and a bit of a black bow tie on top of it. And he regards all of you and he says, "Oh, new guests, welcome. The Countess is probably expecting you. My name is Mr. Tibbs. I am the butler. Would you please come on over? The party is in the backyard, if you will. Before you enter, please, could you sign your name in the registry so we know that you have attended, please?"
Certainly, I'll take that. And he's gonna basically operate as sort of her footman kind of deal and sign her name for her.
Right. The butler will walk in and present to you the location of the book.
Okay. Oh, I can't. I have to go through over here and then go over here.
Yes, you go.
Cool. Sorry, the music is actually going perfectly with how you guys are moving. All right. So yeah, John will hastily scrawl that, Zalaria Lealin is here.
As we enter, Casariel is very casually clocking all the exits in the room,
Right.
the patrons, whoever she can see, anyone that's visible, and if they've got weapons on, she's making a casual but very thorough sweep of the surroundings.
Fair. So walking in, I mean, this is like manors are, they have a certain grandeur to them, and this is no exception. Walking into here, first off, double doors. There is a lovely red carpet in the middle of the room, and there is this room is immaculate. If this is the entrance, you can only imagine what the rest of the manor must look like. There are several suits of armor lining the wall with various sorts of weapons, basically all standing at attention. There's some lovely lavish plants that you don't usually see around these parts. They look like exotic plants that have been imported. There's tapestries and various paintings on the wall, and you do see quite a few doors. There's one to your immediate left and one to your right. There is one. There are two doors at the other side of the entrance on the side, and there is a set of double doors right in front of you.
Quick moment. The music has ceased. It reached its end and did not reloop. Just wanted to mention that.
Not for
It
me.
is
I hear it.
replaying for me, but allow me to replay that for you.
Thank you.
There you go. Let me also put that on loop. There we go.
Perfect. Yeah. So John's not really paying attention as much to. He knows how Casariel operates, and he's pretty secure. You know that she's got the entrances, exits, and he's just looking for general threats to. Like if anyone gets close to Silverbrow, he's gonna be on top of them. But
Fair. Now, do mind, this is just a soiree, right? Like, so there's no immediate
Right.
like, danger or whatever. Unless you were very scared of suits of armor. But other than that, there's no immediate danger here.
No. John's pretty relaxed right now. This is not a threatening place. In fact, it's a little bit
Zariel's
boring.
never relaxed. Never.
What about you, Carla? How are you taking this?
Carla is sort of hastily scribbling down like details of what she's seeing. She's like, and the grass is like very well trodden. It's not very well kept. Maybe they're not as rich as they think they are. And as she walks in, she's kind of marking down all the different things that she sees and making wildly bad assumptions about all of them.
Are you also going to sign the book?
Yes, I am. I'm going to produce my quill and then write her name in like big scrawling letters across it confidently.
With a little heart dotting the eye of Lilac Heart?
No.
I had to ask. Like, I was just, it's going to visual.
The eye in lilac is a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. She draws like a little. Her dots are more of like a circle, and they do look a little bit like a magnifying glass.
Also, one more thing I did forget to mention in this room, but I think it visually is pretty obvious. There is a staircase here.
Yep.
Also, as she signs the book, she's going to quickly look up to see if the butler is watching her. Is he?
Yes, he is. He is standing over there. Like, this is an older gentleman. He's not standing at attention. He's not a guard, but he's just standing there as butlers do, right? Butlers either they have two poses when they're standing, like hands behind their back or hands in front of them. He's doing the hands in front of them, standing there at attention as an 80-year-old gentleman would do. So he's just waiting for you, basically.
Okay. I am quickly going to cast Unseen Servant. And I'm going to send it forward. So you can't see it, but if you could, it's a little like ghost, like a very classical ghost shape that appears sort of up on the ground. And it's going to rush over and tip one of the what do you call it?
Suits of armor?
Suits of armor, just enough for it to make noise.
Okay. Just for my visual, like you said, like a very classical ghost. Are we talking classical ghost as in like creepy ghost, or like a sheet?
No, like a
Casper?
sheet. Like a little sheet. Yeah, like a little sheet ghost.
With eyes cut out.
In order.
The two holes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Love
she actually carries a little like neckerchief that has two holes in it that she can like put on it so she can see where it is. But for the moment she doesn't want it to be seen. She's going to send it off towards this suit of armor right here. I don't know if you can see me. And get it to just tip that so that the attention is sort of drawn away from her.
All right. As you do that, the weapon that is suit of armor is wearing, it's a spear that it's holding. It does that little like kind of sound. It's not too loud, but it is metal, so it does carry. Everyone's attention is drawn to this, at least briefly.
Okay.
What's that?
While that's happening, I'm going to quickly flick through the book and see if I can see any names of note in there. Anything that stands out.
Anything that stands out. Okay. There is one name that you might like. These are people of high society from the area of Waterdeep and Daggerford. So they're not royalty, right? They're high society. even though some names are more well-known than others, and there are two names that you might actually recognize. One of them is one Cynthia Blackburn. She's a socialite, so she's rather well-known for her many talents. The other one would be Count Spencer Beaumont Battenfield. This is old money, if you will, and he is just well-known for that singular fact around the Sword Coast. This is a
Hey.
rich fellow.
And as they all sort of turn it back, I flick back to the page that we were on, and I'm like, wind maybe.
The moment that suit of armor does something unexpected, boom, in her hands, ready to attack, is a purple ball of energy. And she steps in front of the High Priestess, and she is just ready to take it down if it's posing a threat.
Mr. Tibbs will obviously see that and be like, "Oh my!
Are your suits of armor in the habit of moving on their own,
No, ma'am.
John?
Uh,
Check it out.
Fine. He saw the thing, like he heard it clatter, but when it didn't actually start moving towards them, he basically is like keeping an eye on it. But then you jumped up. He's like, I'll go check it out, and I'm just gonna basically look it up and down, feel the spear, like maybe it did something. First of all, can I check your suit of armor here? He's not gonna. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
All right. It doesn't seem. Nothing seems off about it. I don't know why I made a sound, but maybe it was just tilted and chose that moment to fall into place. I don't know. But yeah, he's just gonna look over it, see if anything.
Contrary to your expectation, I'm also going to give you a sleight of hand check on this.
Oh, me? Oh God, no! I'm really good at sleight of hand with my big old +0. I got a 6.
The suit of armor just crashes into all the different components that make up a suit of armor on the floor.
It seems pretty. I got it.
That
got
was
it.
thorough. Good job, John.
Thank you. Looks like there's no
You see
threat here.
You see a defeated look in Mr. Tibbs' eyes because he's undoubtedly going to be the one that has to be reconstructing this thing.
Apologies, sir. Just had to be sure.
High Priestess, I think he has successfully made sure there is no threat.
No threat here, ma'am.
Right.
I guess it's time we should join the party.
Yes, I think so. Yes, indeed.
I would believe so, yes. So where do you want to go?
He said the party was in the back, right?
Aye.
I'm just gonna start walking towards the back. There's double doors in the back, right?
Peek a glance over at Carla. Does she look guilty?
Not at all.
All right.
If we would notice any kind of spell, maybe Mr. Tibbs didn't, but John certainly didn't because he was sort of looking ahead, not really paying attention. But yeah, so John's.
If the situation would arise, I will let you know. But this was a smart play, so we'll leave it at that.
All right. I suppose
the set of double doors that you're walking towards are just like those normal standard like indoor double doors. They won't open by themselves, but you can totally open them.
Okay. So he's going to sort of summon the party forward and in a graceful way of like not telling her what to do, but Zalaria, whenever, letting her know that it's safe to move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
And she will follow you.
Cool. He's just going to keep moving back until they're able to get to where the party is, and he can stop, being a bodyguard for a bit.
The second part of the that you're just walking through right now is also again like it's just like part of this hallway. It's just been closed off, probably just to keep out the cold. There's a little bit more decoration here, a couple of armoires, another suit of armor here, and a large mirror that seems to be like really well made.
No obvious threats. He's just going to keep moving forward.
Sounds good.
Carla's going to dart towards that mirror and start looking behind it for anything. That could be a possible note.
You all Roll me investigation check.
Okay. 21.
Okay. Behind the mirror, you see a lot of dust.
Okay, nothing there. And she's going to sort of
That's
skitter back
perfect.
towards there. As we were coming in, when we were looking over on these, like the section back behind us, were those doors? These?
Where?
Can you see my cursor?
The
So if you,
nearest kids.
if you, when you came inside, there was one door on your left, one door on your right, and then basically in front of you there were 4 doors, a set of double doors, and 2 doors next to it.
Sorry, just to double check. Okay, cool.
Perfectly
We'll
fine.
keep going forward.
Yeah,
All
John can continue.
You wanted to move into the backyard, right?
Yeah, he's just gonna keep walking until they get to where he needs to get Zelaria because he has a mission and he's basically babysitting right now.
Perfectly fine. As you walk into the backyard, you notice that the backyard is filled with people. This is where the party happens. Music is loud over here, and you see there's a table with food. There are several little tables, people standing there in active conversation. Some people absolutely minding, just drinking. This is the party, apparently.
He's going to stand next to the door and let her. She's the guest, not him. So, he's just gonna assume guard duty now.
Zelaria will walk in and regard all the people over here. She gets a couple of looks back, as parties like this usually happen. It's look like oh, and like conversely, same as like oh, and that's really the extent of like it, because that's how soirees usually go. Zelaria looks around and notices a familiar face in the 2 ladies to her direct right. And she looks at both John and Casariel and she says, I will be conversing with the ladies over here. For now, why don't you fashion something to eat or something for yourselves? Just enjoy yourselves for now. I want to talk.
Yes, High Priestess.
Of course, ma'am.
She steps over and starts talking with the ladies over here.
I think John and Casariel, John's gonna look at Casariel and sort of like nod and like want to do a once around to perimeter check kind of deal.
Yeah, let's.
And they're
Yes, let's. And Carola's going to loop her arms between the 2 of them and join them.
All right.
all right.
6 eyes are better than 4.
So you go one way, I'll go the other. Split up, faster ground.
Yeah. Yep. Sure. Yeah.
Right. So John will start walking south then, I suppose, and if you want to, wherever you want to go, he's just gonna sort of make sure that there's no threatening looking people here, but he's not really thinking there will be.
As you move southwards, you're walking through the lush garden of the backyard. So you're demolishing some plants, which is fine, I imagine. And it's not like there's a pathway.
He'll take the path. He'll take the path of actual resistance.
John, there's a path.
I suppose that makes a little more sense.
I have to say, when I was making this map, I fully imagined that this was going to happen, and I was like, if anyone's going to do it, it's John, and you totally delivered. And thank you.
Delicious.
I want to let you down.
It's a little thing, like when you're drawing this, you're like, I imagine this is going to happen, and so far, 2 things have really happened where I'm like, what's going to happen?
Love it.
Amazing.
I imagine it was mirror and path, right? 2 things.
Yes.
So far.
Right.
So walking south, you're just basically looking at people, right? Just to see like if
Yeah, basically, if anyone looks like they're concealing any weapons with ill intent, like if they're wearing a blade and they look like they're royalty, he's seen that before. So looking for ill intent, looking for people hiding in the bushes. He's not really expecting to find anything. This is like a fancy person thing. He's kind of bored. So
Okay. So the only large bush that you immediately notice in this backyard is the one that is closest to the large tower that is attached to this backyard. That is a rather large bush. The rest is just like that low growth that comes no higher than your ankle. Carla might be able to hide in it, but no one else. So
Excellent. Good to know.
Hints, no. So there's no one hiding in that. Like, there's no way.
He's not going to interact with anybody.
All right. As for the people that you're seeing around you, there is one gentleman that you've passed that is standing alone at a table, just drinking solemnly. He looks like he's loaded. Very beautiful clothing he's wearing. Furthermore, to the south, there are 3 people in active conversation. One man looks like he's a man of the cloth, but then like higher up, like someone who's important in church. Another gentleman who is wearing part of armor, which seems like it's ceremonial armor. Like it's probably still effective, but it looks very ceremonial. It's too pretty to wear into battle. And then there's a lady over there that catches your attention in a certain way. She's a lady, definitely. So they're in active conversation right now.
He's not going to bother them. He's just doing his duty, basically.
All right. Other than that, you notice a small tower to your immediate south, of which you can see a couple of like murder holes, like those arrow slits higher up. But nothing more. You do see next to the tower and in between the manor and the house, there's like a little opening that probably leads into like a side area of the between like the wall and the house. But other than that, no, this just looks like a garden.
Yep. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
All right. Casariel, you were also sweeping. What did you see? What were you looking at?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a look at Carla to see if she's coming with me.
Yes.
Oh.
You know, this scene isn't really actually the type I like to be at, but I owe my friend a favor.
Oh, really?
So, do you like talking to people?
I do it often for my profession as a priestess, but enjoy it. I much prefer exploring, really.
Yes, I feel very similar. Shall we see what dangers there are?
Sure. I did mean to ask you, and as I'm talking to her, I am still keeping very vigilant. I'm not looking at her as I'm talking to her, but I don't suppose you've had any advances on the search for my mother.
Not since the last time we talked. I have found people who have disappeared in similar circumstances where they still have not been found, but there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it outside of the fact that they seem to be powerful people. I'm sorry, I'll keep looking, but there's no distinct link. There's no rumors, there's no whispers, there's nothing. They just into the air. But I will keep looking, and I have been keeping an ear out, an eye out, and I've been keeping cases that sound similar close. And I sort of bring my notebook out, and I flick to sort of the section that seems to be a bit older, from maybe around the time we first met, that has sort of my initial notes and what I've built up on top of it, just to show her that I have been keeping actual track of this.
I appreciate it.
Right.
All right, and so we'll make a sweep.
All right. So from where you're standing right now, I mean, there's just quite a few people here. To your immediate right, you see the 2 ladies that Zaria has started talking to. They seem like, if people that are, higher up in the social hierarchy have that certain air around them because of their clothing, the way they handle, the way they talk. It's even in the laugh, right? Like, people that are like a little lower on the ladder, they laugh, like they guffaw, right? And higher up, it's like, oh, that's what these ladies are doing. It's like it's that level. It's like, ugh. That exactly. Total Jim Carrey reference.
Love it.
A table over, you see a gentleman and a woman in active conversation. You notice that there's a hint of, I don't want to call it romance, but there's something going on there on that table. And then a little further away, there's like this just giant table with food and drink, and oh my, this is like this could feed a small village for a week. It looks wonderful, and it probably even smells wonderful if you get close to it. Behind it, you see a gentleman that is sort of off between all these people, for he's not wearing regal clothes at all. He is a little small, he's a little pudgy, and he wears an outfit that is kind of skin tight, and it's in duotone. It's in yellow and in orange. And on his head, there are like two flaps sticking out, as if you had ears. And he's just standing there, sort of murmuring to himself and nibbling on a piece of bread.
Oh, he does look interesting, and Carla's going to start bounding off towards him. And as she kind of gets closer, she's like, "Hello."
Oh, hi.
What's your name?
Juggles. Juggles. Hi.
Juggles. Oh, yes.
You?
Oh, Carla Lilacart. Pleasure to meet you. And she like holds. Is he taller than me?
Yeah, not that much. Like you would assess by looking at him that he's like dwarfish height. So he's taller than you, but not that much.
All right, so then I'll reach my hand up and I'm like, "Pleasure to meet you."
He's like, and he gives you like a sideways high five that hits like half of your hand.
Interesting. Okay, so what's your business here? You know, what's your relation to the Countess, the Duchess?
The Countess needed entertainment, and I needed some food, so that's why I'm here. And
What entertainment do you do?
Too?
Oh, do I look like I'm here for entertainment?
Yeah, you do.
Oh. Yes, I can do tarot readings. I might even do one, but first let me see what you do.
The mentioning of tarot, his facial expression just changes, shifts from being like a little like trying to be funny and sort of like really sure what to do with you to almost frightened. He's like, no, thank you.
Hey, I don't have to do them. What do you do?
Oh, I dance and I make jokes. I make very funny jokes.
Tell me one.
What kind of joke would you like?
Your best one. What's the one that makes the Countess laugh?
So, and he thinks for a little while. He says, what would be the favorite song of a vampire?
What?
You are my sunshine.
Yes. I imagine you've told jokes to a lot of different people at the party. Have you noticed anyone who's, particularly special while you were walking around?
No. What do you ask?
I'm looking for company, and, important people are good company. They like tarot readings.
The mentioning of like you're looking for a company, he looks at you with that look of like, excuse me?
Well, like good company, people to talk to, get news from, think interesting.
No, these are all they're very important people. I'm just here for jokes.
Useless. Okay. Ciao. And she's going to scoot back to Casariel, and she's like, he's not very good at what he does, but he doesn't seem to be a threat or particularly anything interesting. I'm going to continue. Yeah.
Well, then we'll walk this way. Along the path.
As you walk away, Juggles will just still stand there and like still nibble on that piece of bread and look over at the table and just grab a goblet of wine to go with it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I'm gonna start making my way back north. I've circled around here.
All
right. Anything to note?
I assume we're like sitting back to back, where he's got like the southern like periph, and I've got the northern periph.
The Mr. and Mrs. Jones kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, sure.
Well, sure. If you are interested in a strange fellow with terrible jokes, I recommend you hit up the refreshment table. Other than that, nothing of note.
I was going to hit up the refreshment table for refreshments, but if they're only got jokes, I'm probably not going to go. This, I'm sorry. When we were told we had to not babysit, escort the High Priestess.
It's a great honor.
Right.
It's a great honor to be her personal guard. They would
Yeah.
not have given it to us if they did not think we are capable. And she's, keeping up appearances as she says this to him behind her. She looks like
Mhm.
she's talking to herself.
Are you guys like what is the volume? Are you guys like whispering to each other, or could this be audible by the people around you?
Trying to make it somewhat a private conversation between us. Like
Yeah.
maybe Carla can hear because she's like right next to us, but it's not meant for loud. Like he's kind of being a little bit disrespectful to his boss, so he's not going to be belting that out. Yeah.
As you're standing there, your conversation lost on the notes of music in the backyard. The gentleman closest to you, standing near the table, does notice the fact that you're standing really funny back to back over there. And as he finishes up one sip of his cup, he looks at you, and in a quite normal voice, actually, he says, "What are you, like guards or something?"
I'm just gonna. Yes, we are. Question:
Guards.
Did we I imagine were we allowed to bring our equipment and everything? Like we weren't
You're
stripped of
fully
weapons.
decked out the
Okay,
way
cool.
that you have decided you want it to be decked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So he's sort of got his maul hanging from his belt and at his side and a shield on his back and sort of arms crossed. So he sort of looks down at his weapon and he looks at the guy and goes, "Yes, yeah, we're guards."
Same.
Carter sort of jumps so that her face is like visible beyond the table, and she says, "I'm not a god. I'm actually the press. Carla Lilac Hart of the Violet Gazette. Pleasure to meet you." And she's like,
Contrary to what you might imagine with like these high society types, he takes your hand like a normal, decent human being, and he shakes it and he says, "Good to meet you, Carla. I am Count Spencer Beaumont Battenfield."
"Oh, I think I've heard of you before, but I'm not sure."
Yes, richest man in the country, I know.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, you wouldn't happen to consider donating to the Violet Gazette from time to time, no? We do very interesting articles over there.
There's a certain threshold of money, and if you go past that, everyone just sees you as a large wallet.
She's like writing
What
this
is it you
down.
need? What is it you need?
Oh, well, I don't need anything. I just thought it would be a funny joke to break the ice. People like those. So, what's your business with at this soiree, you know? I mean, wealthiest man in the world, you wouldn't be off at some of the islands getting sun as opposed to here at Daggerford.
You know, the thing is, this is a yearly thing, and every single year I'm expected to turn up at this party. I wouldn't call it dreary, but look around you. What do you see?
Dreariness.
You're
Sorry.
awesome. No, feel free to chip in. It says, look around you. Let's be fair. You're a reporter. That means you have investigative qualities. What do you see? What's the first thing you notice here?
Kind of depressing, honestly.
Yes, it is. The thing is, soirees are a place where you meet new people, where you have a chat with people that are interesting, that you make new connections. This is a place where you make sure that, you know, the rabble dabble of every single day is just, you know, it's every day is the same, and soiree just brings a little bit of life into life. This is the 29th soiree that I've been invited to, and every single year invitation gets extended. Oh, would I please be there, because oh my god, the richest man of the area comes over to visit. Every single year I see the same faces. Better yet, every single year I see less faces, because I see a grand total of what, 8 faces around me. This is a party. The rest of them is in the house. Everyone just breaks up into little groups to scheme and plot and talk about more important things other than just the weather and nice things. I don't know about you, but this is not a party.
And parties only include weather and nice things as topics of conversations.
Let's be fair, it's better than talking about the current political state of Waterdeep and what best to spend the king's money on. I've heard it all before.
That's very fair. Have you considered taking up a life of paranormal investigation? It's quite fun. You see many new faces. Some of them are even dead. Just a
Roll
suggestion.
against that.
What? A roll against that?
Yeah,
Oh no.
he seems genuinely interested.
Fun. Fun.
You mentioned faces of death, and John just sort of like, probably imperceptibly, he just sort of looks over and just scowls a bit.
I'm gonna mention
What is
over my
it?
shoulder. Yes, it must be so terribly hard to be filthy rich. Oh, terribly.
He looks over at John, and because like you're still looking at him, right? Like while he's having this conversation.
I'm purposely looking everywhere else. I mean, I'm listening, but I'm.
Right.
John is totally not forgotten, but he's ignoring his guarding duties. Like if anything happens, he'll be alert for it, but he's focused entirely on the conversation now. Sort of like scornful about the whole mention of undead faces and stuff like that. He's not big on that.
He says, I'd like to learn a little more about that, Kata, when you have some time later on. And he looks up at Casariel and John. He says, now, you're not my security detail, so I have no rights. But are you currently disposed? Do you have some time?
He's gonna look at Casariel and be like, disposed? Like,
Available. We are the guard of the High Priestess, the Temple of the Moon. That. Yeah, it's hard to, they change it like once or twice a year, so we just have to constantly anyway,
The High Moon Priestess, yes.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
We'll go with
We've
that.
been training for this for many, many years.
the Lunar
That
Lady,
change-
as some of us call her.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Moon Lady over there.
One with the big headdress. It's just hard to miss. What are you in need of something, sir?
You know what? As the case may be, I am. And it's about time that we're going to do something about it because I am. Yes, let me let you in a little secret. Come a little closer if you will.
John will get a little bit closer, I guess.
I'll move here, but my gaze is still this way. I'm listening kind of over my shoulder.
Looking right at the guy.
It's very menacing, but the guy is unfazed.
Oh no, I'm not trying to be like threatening or anything. I'm just sort of like, I feel like
you're clad in armor with a maul on your side. That's menacing, dude.
true, but yeah, I'm not intentionally intimidating. Yeah.
Sure. He says, so listen, every single year, same stuff, right? Every single year, boring party. Now, there's one thing this party that has actually changed, other than the attendance of the Moon Priestess, of course. I want to have a talk with her later on. There's one more thing that is different from any other year, and I'm fed up about it, and I hope that you guys can help me with it.
Go on.
Money is just money, but money gets you access to interesting things in life. I'm not a mage. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a sorcerer. I'm not one to dabble in magic, but I do love curios. Curios that perform little things in life that, that are just a little bit beyond the normal. I like that, and I'm willing to pay a lot of money for that. Recently, I have gotten my hands on a rather peculiar ring that allows me to, let's just say, do certain things, no matter what it is. That ring is very dear to me, not only because it's worth a lot of money, but also because it's mine. I came here to this party wearing that ring. I no longer have that ring. Someone over here has taken it from me. And I don't know who.
Like,
But
right off
if you
your
have a
hand?
moment, you tell me, my good man. But it's no longer here. I looked around. I don't see it on the ground. You would easily spot it. Someone has stolen it. I am dead certain. And I
What does
won't.
it look like?
He says it is a it is a gold ring with a purple stone on top of it. You can't miss it.
Not sure
If you have a
about that.
moment and you have nothing else to do, I would implore you to have a look around and see if you can find my ring. I really want it back.
That's not really why we're here, sir, but I'm sure
I know, but
he's gonna gesture to Carla. Is like, I imagine this is something that is interesting
yes,
to you.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I just came here honestly to find out what the political state of Waterdeep was, but now I have a mystery. This is much better. Okay, so gold ring, purple top, missing. Was on your finger and then wasn't on your finger. Could be a possible disappearing like spell. Could be a ghost who's taken it, who's off, or and then she kind of looks over to the juggling joke guy and is like, oh, it could be him. I don't trust him.
you're saying all this out loud, right? Like you're
Oh,
thinking out
absolutely.
loud.
Could
Yeah,
be
but it's
whoever knocked
It's a stream of
over
consciousness as she's writing it down.
the suit of armor earlier. I looked to Carla.
Who in the world? I mean, it could have been the wind. Could have been a ghost. She's going to look right back at her thing.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever it was already like that when I found it.
It's a crack team that we have here tonight.
where was the last time you saw it on you? Was it outside the pot, like directly outside, or was there a moment in time when you were inside and you had it on?
I honestly cannot remember. I remember distinctly coming to the door and entering the mansion with it. That I do remember because I have this annoying habit of always fidgeting with my jewelry whenever I'm waiting. So I hate waiting. So if I wouldn't have had it then, I would have noticed, I think. But beyond that, a lot going on, a lot of people to talk to, a lot of hands to shake. You tell me.
That is fair, that is fair. All right. I mean, you two are welcome to come find the ring with me if you want. Could be dangerous. I mean, anyone who's stealing jewelry, who could imagine what they're going to do to the High Priestess?
Oh.
The Count
steal from her.
catches on to what you're saying and he says, she's got a point.
So you said this ring can do anything? What was it that it does again?
Let's... Is it important for me to share that?
Well, yes, because if you're saying that this could be a threat to the High Priestess, I need to know what that threat is, where it might come from,
Say
and
it
what it would
turns
look
you
like.
invisible. That does somewhat change our investigation, does it not?
Roll me a persuasion check on that.
Who?
You choose.
Oh,
You probably.
I would like to.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm going to use the not big die on this persuasion. Okay, that's a plus. Oh my god, natural one.
I meant me. Me.
Hey, that's your one. Yeah, I'm not alone anymore.
Oh man.
That's your first roll of the campaign as well.
My
right?
first roll of the campaign.
Oh no. It's all right. It's okay. It's good. Get it out of the way.
He takes a good look at you and he says, I assure you it's not necessarily dangerous.
I just
can't
need to know
imagine-
what I'm looking for. Like, should it be fire? I'm just trying to get an idea of what to keep an eye out for. You
It's
don't need to
magical.
tell me. This is a waste of time.
It is not damaging.
Casariel, if you want to indulge in this, then I'll come with. But it
I
seems
think we should. It's a threat to the High Priestess. Of course, anyone who threatens the High Priestess will suffer a fate worse than death. You
I
can
hope so.
imagine.
You'll guarantee that. How about this? If you want to, you can. You're better at searching than I am. But you and Carlo want to look for this thing. I'll go and make sure that the High Priestess is safe. Or
All right.
do you think you need me to follow?
We need muscles. He's quite a big target. Just
Yeah,
saying.
I think you should come.
All right. I'm gonna glare at Carlo a little bit and fine.
I'm not on a very important mission, so
I'd like to go over to. Sorry, I'm gonna have to tell her that we're gonna need to look for a possible threat in the area. Or do you think I should not interrupt her conversation? I really don't know how to deal with her.
Oh no, she will be able to message us if anything arises.
All right. After you, little investigator.
wonderful. Okay, so the best place to always start is right back at your tracks. However, if we go, that butler could be suspicious, and she's going to start sort of like running towards, not running, but like quickly sort of running, speed walking towards the door again. And she's going to pop inside. But just before she goes, she's going to make a point to sort of go up here and try to see if she can spot like gold glittering purple on anyone's hand as she's walking past. So that's where she's first going to look. She's going to do an initial sweep to be like, do I see anything glittery gold and purple as she's going this way?
Just as a cursory glance.
As a cursory glance.
Okay. Let me quickly have a look what your passive is. Wow. Okay, that's going to be a problem.
to know.
I forgot that you're an investigator. For later moments, that might pose a problem. No, for now, yes, you notice a lot of glittering gold. These are people of high society. They have dressed in their almost nicest clothing. This is like one tier, like the tier above what they're wearing right now is for when they meet the king. This is just below that. So gold, jewelry. These people are worth what you make in a lifetime, just by what they're wearing. So yeah, these people are loaded.
Anything with a particular purple glow, though?
Just by passive glance? No.
Okay. Then, when I don't immediately catch sight of it, like in a very obvious way, I'm going to dart in here and sort of continue forward until I reach into this room again.
All right.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically search, like, the initial area. Like, you see her sort of get to the ground and sort of look around. She, like, peers into both of the potted plants. Oh, in some areas, like in the corners, underneath the desk here that holds the book, she does that as well. She like is just basically investigating the entire area, including inside like the potted plants, to see if she sees anyone who may have like taken it, then stored it somewhere to come back for later.
Give me an investigation check.
Amazing. Okay. Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good. That'll be a 24.
All right. Looking around this entire area, no one is stopping you, right? It's just it's empty. So you look at every nook and cranny that you can find. You look through the pieces of armor that are still strewn about on the ground because of the
Incident
of John. There is no signs of jewelry here. You look everywhere. Like you lift the paintings off the wall just a little bit to look behind it and whatnot. There's nothing here.
And okay. So with that, then I'm going to go immediately to this room. Because we're here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm going to attempt to open the door.
Okay, go ahead.
I can. Ooh.
I hope you can. Yes, yeah. These doors are interactive. You can totally do it yourself. The door opens up into a wonderful dining room.
Okay.
And there's a little
no
bit
one
more, but I'm
inside?
going to show that to you in a second. So, give me 1 second.
I see sausages on the table. Very fun.
Let me just do it like this. That doesn't matter. There we go. The diner. There we go. You see a wonderful dining table set up for probably all the guests that are currently here to just have a bite. Like, this is not a dinner. This is just like a whole bunch of, like, they're not snacks, but they're also not dinner. This is like one of those in between tables where they can just sit down and have a bite if they're really.
Okay.
John's kind of dragging his feet a little bit because he's going along with it. Casariel's going, but this is not interesting to him.
I hope that isn't in character.
Yeah, no. This is a in character. Yeah, he's a guard. You know, he's here to do a job, and some rich guy's asking him to look for a ring, and
I had to say it. Like,
yeah.
So I as I walk further in, what do I see?
Yes.
Do I see?
Other than the dining table, which would immediately catch your attention, you will see a fireplace that is lit with a couple of suits of armor next to it as well. Like, these people apparently like suits of armor. Some lavish plants, and in that little corner that is next to the dining table, you see a lady standing there, and she is currently looking at a couple of books that are there in a couple of bookcases in that little corner there.
Okay. First things first, I'm going to just quickly check underneath the table to see if I see anything as I'm passing by.
You will notice a rug and the various feet of the chairs.
Okay. Then with that, I'm going to sort of start walking around and towards her because people are always a good place to check.
Get closer. You notice that other than the bookcases, you also notice that there's a dais to your right with a book on that, which is open.
All right. Then I'm going to backtrack and sort of quickly glance at this book first on my route. Hello?
Anything you're looking at?
Oh yeah, I'm going to quickly sort of glance at this book to see if I understand the writing on it, or
It isn't common.
Isn't common. Okay. From what I can see, what does it say? At least from the open pages.
It seems to be a book on the art of bee studying.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Seeing nothing of immediate interest, I'm going to continue on towards this lady, and I'm going to go. Excuse me.
The lady turns around and regards you with a very friendly smile on her face, and she says, "Oh, hi. Are you part of the? Are you a guest as well?"
Yes, special type of guest. I'm a press candidate. Carla Lilacott, pleasure to meet you. What's your name?
Absolute pleasure to meet you. My name is Clarissa Rowley. I live in Waterdeep, and I was one of the 2 special guests invited today. I'm an opera singer.
Oh my good, how wonderful. I mean, they hired other entertainment to tell jokes, but opera singing is a much classier form of entertainment. I was just
Absolutely.
sort of looking around, getting the scoop on everything.
I wasn't hired as entertainment though, but thank you for the compliment. What exactly can I help you with?
Oh, I mean, have you seen anything interesting going on at the party? Met anyone interesting? You know, I'm doing this as a favor for a friend. Usually I don't cover parties like this, but I mean, it's so invigorating. What do you think of everything that's going on?
Oh, it's just lovely. I mean, this is my first time going to a soiree like this. There's so many important people here. It's so lovely. The Duchess really outdid herself. And I mean, the food over here, the garden is immaculate. I'm really enjoying myself here.
Yes, I mean, there's so many important people. Like, I mean, the richest man in the world is here tonight. What do you make of him? Have you met him yet?
I've had the pleasure of seeing him, which, I mean, he's somewhat of a legend, isn't he? Yes, I should speak with him.
I want to sort of roll an insight check to see if she is. if her face distinguishably changes when I mention him.
All right.
Okay, not bad. Another 18. 21.
Her face does change, yes, when you mention him. And to the trained eye, which you do have, you notice that while she tries to keep a low profile on, like, oh yeah, I know him. There's a hint of, like, she knows he's loaded and he's single.
Oh, well, I mean, he seems, just between you and me, quite bored at this party. I mean, I talked to him a little bit earlier. I'm sure he would love some company right now, especially because a possession of his has gone missing. Wonderful ring, purple stone. So if you see it at all, look out for it and, return it to him. I'm sure he would be very grateful.
A purple stone? Oh, sure. I will have a look at it. Like a pebble?
No, like a gold ring with a beautiful purple gem inlaid on it.
Oh.
Yes. He's the richest man in the world, of course. He would have
course.
something. Mm-hmm. But keep an eye out for it. He seems to have misplaced it somewhere. Maybe when he was going to the bathroom, he washed his hands and took it off. Who knows?
That poor man.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep a look at it out for it, and maybe I'll have a talk with him. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes, the poor man. So I'm going to sort of like nod and smile at her, and I'm going to take a look at the books that are around.
Right. The books over here are like a various selection of books that are all on topics that might make one seem knowledgeable if you put these on display. So, the delicate art of crafting green smoothies. Like, it's just like it's all sorts of like weird books that sort of make you look very knowledgeable, but the owner probably never read them.
Okay. Then with that, I am going to, give the lady just a little like, nice to meet you. I mean, I hope I do get to hear you sing at the end of the night. And I'm going to sort of dart away kind of this way.
Right.
Back towards my companions.
John, Casariel, what are you doing at the moment?
Casariel, go ahead.
So while that was all happening, I walked up to the table and just very slyly skewered a piece of sausage and cut it in half. Put 2 forks on it so that I have 2, and passed one over to John.
I so totally want you to roll like a sleight of hand for that, but I won't. Like, sure. The natural one of that will be hilarious, but go ahead.
So with no subtlety whatsoever, John takes it and just like eats the sausage in, like, not hiding it, but he's listening to the conversation because he's keeping an eye on Carla. His idea of her, he thinks she's a troublemaker and not necessarily up to no good, but just he wants to be there if something does go afoul, and he's sort of listening in on the conversation.
Sure.
So now seeing her scamper over, he's gonna regroup with Casariel.
All right.
Okay. As I pass this way, I think there's another door. Am I correct or am I wrong?
There is a door over there as well, indeed.
Yes. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just peer in with absolutely no stealth at all. I just sort of peer in and I'm like, hello!
Looking in, you hear the telltale sound of someone chopping on a piece of wood. And if you peer around, you can see a small gentleman, small man, chopping away at a chopping board, that's the one, with some food on it. Apparently this is the chef.
Oh, hello. I mean, I tried some of your hors d'oeuvres. They're very good. Pleasure to meet you.
What?
Oh, nice to meet you. Carla Lilacott. I'm a kitchen assistant.
He looks over at you and he's like, and he raises his hands that are like covered in like crud and like, cook, right? So he's like, sorry, I could kitchen assistant? Bailey.
I'm
and
learning
I'd
how
like
to cook. And
I'd
the
like to make a
Countess said
deception
this...
check on that.
Oh, okay. Cool. That'll be a 6 overall.
I don't recall getting another kitchen assistant. I hope not, because that would be me. You're not
Yes,
going to replace me, are you?
No, I just am so interested in cooking and I wanted to learn. So I said that I would become a kitchen assistant for a night. Thought it would be fun. And I'm going to, while I'm like doing that, I'm just going to sort of really look at him and see if I can see any peek of like a ring in a pocket or like on his hand or like anything like that.
Give me a perception check on that.
Oh, these dice don't like me anymore. That'll be a 9.
You're just looking at him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no jewelry whatsoever. Like, this is just a cook.
Okay. First things first, we have to make sure that everything in the kitchen is in its place. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start like looking around the kitchen again, investigating sort of everything there, see if I could find any nook or cranny that the ring might be hidden in.
All right, that will be an investigation check then. Let's go.
Okay. So,
John's.
John's gonna go over to Casariel.
I'm gonna hand him another fork with another sausage on it.
Thank you, sorry. Do you
That'll
really...
be an 8. Sorry.
Okay, I just want to aside with Casariel real quick. Do you really think that the richest man in the world is coming over here? And I don't know how rich people operate, but it seems that I don't know. I think what do you make of all this?
I think it's quite possible someone's stolen his ring.
So
We're doing a nice thing. We are supposed to do that from time to time. You know,
keep an eye on the High Priestess, though.
I think she's in danger. She's more powerful than both of us combined. She really doesn't need a guard. It's a bullshit post.
It's a
really.
formality. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts eating the sausage again.
What did you roll, Carla?
Oh, an 8.
There's no ring here.
Oh. Well, I mean, you know what? I've just decided I don't actually want to cook. Okay, goodbye! And I'm going to quickly shuffle out away from him. What?
And he just goes back to chopping.
Okay. I sort of come out and I look distinctly, Cara looks just distinctly a little bit more put out, and she's like, usually it is like, the cooks and stuff like that. Okay, no ring.
Do
no
cooks have a
persons of
habit of
interest
stealing
either.
jewelry?
I understand why they do. I mean, it's not exactly a well-paid position. If he did steal it and he was going to like sell it off later, that'd be fine. But there's no ring there. Doesn't seem to have stolen it. So I suppose we should look elsewhere.
It's probably not someone that works here. I would imagine. Right? Wouldn't it be?
You think he lost it when he was signing his name in the book?
I've already thoroughly looked at the book. There wasn't a ring.
Isn't the Countess wealthy? Like, if there was a thief in her house, wouldn't she know already? It's odd.
It's a good one.
Yeah, John didn't meet the juggler guy, so he's not gonna say anything.
Perhaps we should have asked who they've encountered so far, like who they've shook hands with. Or...
Yes, I mean, when we did ask, he seemed to not remember. He said that he shook hands with all the different people who were at the party that he would have greeted, but we don't know who exactly he greeted. And this is going to be quite the hunt, isn't it? Maybe it was the Countess. You make up a good point with that. Maybe she would know if there was a thief in her house. Maybe she was the one who invited the thief to her house. Just a thought. Putting it out there, workshopping.
Perhaps, but she's wealthy, so would she need to steal something?
I mean, he
Don't
said
really
it was
understand political types.
He said it was a
Maybe she's...
one of a kind item, right, or something.
Oh, a magic item. That's
Yeah.
true.
That might be desirable.
So, it looks like there are multiple places we can check at this party, and we're not really. Oh, I have locked the door myself. That is quite a choice. We're not really getting
Welcome to
anywhere
Foundry,
fast. Foundry. It's so realistic. Yeah, it swings out. No, okay. Okay, so we're not getting anywhere fast. So how about we split up and look for the ring?
How about you two split up, and I'll go back and make sure that the High Priestess is okay.
We could cover so much more ground if you went looking too.
I don't really do searching very well.
All right. You know what? If you're going to be like that, then just go back outside.
Thank you.
Fine.
Let me know if
Possible, I
let me know
guess.
if you guys need anything. You know how I am when I search. I drop statues apart. I make suits of armor fall apart.
You know, if the lady dies tonight, that'll be on you then.
I'm gonna be right next to her. So if it's on me, I'm probably dead too.
All right. No arguing here. Let's just find this ring, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very well. You know, he's really not down for fun, is he?
So I'm gonna come out and like approach the lady. Is there anything that I notice?
I hope so, because now that you come out again, it seems that the Jester has moved over to the table where Silverbrow is also at, and he is, well, performing over there.
I'm gonna get close to the lady and not really impose myself between them, but be next to her, slightly not between them, but like in front of her, so that he can't make a move towards her without me noticing.
Right. As you get closer, you hear Juggles, like he's just waving his hands around and trying to be funny, and he's like, "So, what about the man on the moon? The man, like you're someone with moon, right? So, a man on the, like, do you know how a man on the moon gets his hair done? He clips it." And there's like no reaction on the table.
I'm sure we're not missing anything out there. I mean, certainly not terrible jokes, so that's good.
It's
What's in
just
that door?
odd. All right, let's see. All right. So, will I take this? Okay, yes, we'll both go here. So we'll both go in here.
Yep. Allow me. You seem to be entering into a rather lavishly designed bathroom, which has marble flooring. There is a little mat in front of you with a wash basin and some, toiletries. Behind you, there seems to be a functioning toilet of sorts, and which is luxury for this day and age. And you see a room divider in front of you, which with a couple of like little holes in it, through which you can see a bathtub. The
Okay,
room's empty.
I'm going to start rooting through sort of like the basin area and like looking in the potted plants, even looking in the toilet. I'm like gazing into it just to see if the ring happened to fall in there when he was, I don't know, wiping.
These are the moments that the DM enjoys. Okay, roll me an investigation check on this.
Alrighty. Okay.
See what happens.
We're doing a little better. Okay, that will be a 19.
Okay. So rooting through the toiletries over on the southern side of this bathroom, like the toiletries over here, they seem to be rather like luxury. There's like a hairbrush that is like adorned with like a silver handle. There seems to be a bottle of perfume. I imagine you smell it.
Yep, I got it.
It smells of roses and lilac. It's really nice.
I'm going to pocket it.
Okay, you can totally take it with you.
Cool.
The toilet on the other side, not so much. However, smells of different biological. Did you reach into it or did you look in it?
I looked in it.
All
I
right,
didn't
fair
reach
enough.
in.
There is nothing glistering down there. There was definitely something down there, but nothing glistering. Other than that, the bathtub is filled with water. That's the thing. Other than that,
Odd.
no signs of a ring here.
So, with
bathroom being filled with water. I'm going to go near it and I'm going to see like what the temperature is of it. Like when I put my hand in it, is it hot? Is it cold?
It's warm, actually.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
bathing temperature.
Interesting. That means someone just recently took a bath, which would make no it's going to. And like if I look underneath it or sort of like
This is
Garner.
just a tub that is standing on the ground. Like, if you want to try and lift it, you can, but with the...
no, so there's no like heating mechanism under it or anything like that.
Not that you see, at least.
Okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna just note that and head my way back out to Casariel. I'm going to be like, oh, it's just a bathroom. Nothing interesting, really.
Oh. All right.
Alright, so then I'm going to move this way. And I'm going to go to the store.
Alrighty. Going into this room reveals a study room, it seems, with a rather large table with multiple chairs around it, a desk with one chair next to it, a couple of bookcases, a fireplace, and a couple of people that are in this room. You notice Mr. Tibbs is in this room as well. He is currently dusting off one of the bookcases.
Okay. So, first thing I'm going to do is go immediately towards the people.
Aye.
Start talking to them. Do you want to do anything? Before I go, I'm going to go, look around. Let's check out the butler. To Casariel.
Oh. All right.
These two people, by the way, are in active conversation, like, wine glass in hand.
Okay, I'm going to kind of butt in and I'm going to be like, oh, sorry to interrupt. Carla Lockhart of the Violet Gazette. I'm the press for the night. Who are you? What's your business at the party?
You get, they both stop their conversation and look at you, still wine glass in hand, and you get the look of death of these two people at the mentioning of press. The lady over here looks at you with, she'd almost pass for a crone were it not for this, really expensive clothing, and, she has a tiara and whatnot, but take all that away, and she's an old crone. This is not a pleasant lady to look at. She looks at you and she says, Dame Prudence de Blauville, I have no comments, other than that this is a marvelous party.
I would agree. It's quite nice. Have you heard the comedian yet? And yourself, sir?
I'm Sir Derek of Davenport. And I also... What newspaper are you with?
The Violet Gazette. Chief editor is Lavender Cobblepot. She's a very well arcanist in the city. You might know her. Very well known.
He looks over at the dame and he says, it's the mages again. I have no comments. It's a rather nice party.
It sure is. Have you met, there are many amazing people here tonight. Have you met the richest man? He's here.
Oh, surely. Some people give him a run for his money, so to say. Aren't you a little young to be working for the newspaper?
Everyone needs a summer job.
Right. Well, I do support that.
103 is young for halflings, but, I'm a bit of a trailblazer.
103, you said?
104 this year. I'm quite excited. I'm going to have I sort of say a big party, but honestly, it's just going to be me and the other newspaper, my co-workers, really. But that is not the party to be worried about. This party is so magnificent, including the richest. It has the richest man at it. It has the count. It's hosted by the Countess, and there's even. Did you see that the Lady of the Moon is here? High Priestess of Saloon.
he is obviously confused at your mentioning of the Countess. He's like, the Countess hosting the party? You mean Countess Wit? She's not hosting the party.
She's not. Oh, mm.
But you mean the Duchess?
Yes, the Dutch. I mean,
Of
I'm
course.
not like you people. I mean, you are so high society. I'm merely an investigator.
You get a twang, like being offended from the dame at the mentioning of like what you just said.
Oh, it appears I've made quite the faux pas, but yes, kind of as I'm mentioning these names, like, the richest man, the countess, the duchess, I'm trying to really garner, like, what their reactions are, what I can kind of glean from them.
just like that, as cautionary glance, it's flat. Like there's no visual change for them.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, our newspaper is read by many people. I must say it's quite popular in Neverwinter, which is much bigger than Waterdeep. If you would like to, have anything interesting for the people to know, now would be the time to, give me the information. I can get it in the newspaper.
Yeah, I do understand that reading is one of those hobbies, if you will, for the normal rabble. I have my newspaper read to me. Something for the people. Yes. This is predominantly those magic folk up in Neverwinter that you write for, right?
Predominantly write about magic, yes.
Right. Let it be said that the Lord of Davenport feels that magic, well, it should not be abolished, should perhaps be taken into moderation, lest you be enslaved to it forever. It's a frivolity if you can afford to live with.
Huh. I'm sure they'll love the words. It's definitely a different take. I mean, I don't think anyone else in the world thinks like that. You are very unique.
Quite so. Yeah. Quite so.
Mm-hmm. Very well. What's your opinion on magical objects then? I mean, people using magic is one thing, but things that are naturally imbued with magic are quite a different thing. Or do you consider it all frivolous?
Frivolous and dangerous. It's good to keep a clean mind. Rather have a goblet of wine than dabbling in magic. It's dangerous and addictive.
Very well. She's just going to make idle chat with them now. Nothing really particularly interesting.
All right. As you do so, Casariel, let's first hop back to John. John, what are you doing?
Basically, he's keeping an eye on this juggler. The other people just seem like the normal, like kind of what he was expecting to be here, talking amongst themselves about political nonsense and whatever. Nothing serious as far as he's concerned. This guy doesn't strike him at like he seems unpredictable and
The juggler, you mean, right?
yes, exactly. The juggler juggles the Jester.
Yes.
It strikes him as unpredictable, and he's keeping an eye on him because he doesn't want to end up, he's had situations before where he's lost people, and he's not particularly close to Zolaria, I think, but it's his job to protect her, and protect her he will. So he's eyes on this guy. He's listening to the terrible jokes, not laughing at all, like just granite, features. So he knows that they're searching for things. He's that whole effort is like he doesn't know what they'll find, but he knows that he's probably not going to be helpful finding things. So.
Fair enough. So you're listening to like basically a cannon fire of jokes. Like this guy is keeping like if he tells 100 jokes and one of them will stick, he's done a good job. Like that's his predisposition apparently. So he's cannon firing these jokes into like these people can barely get a word in themselves. Every single time the conversation starts up again, he just comes in and he's like, "How? By the way, one more. By the way, how do you know that the moon doesn't want to eat anymore? Because it's full."
He's okay. He doesn't say anything out loud. It's not really his place to interact with people at the party, but he's also gauging if she's looking distastefully at him, he's probably gonna try to escort the guy away.
Zaleria is a very refined and fine woman, and she's a priestess. Priestess understand people. They're of the people, right? I mean, people are their trade. So she has, if anything, there's a certain compassion towards him that she looks at him and like, oh, poor guy. That being said, though, he is rather annoying, and you might feel that she might be in over her head. Like, it's not that she doesn't know how to handle herself, but the guy is very
If she ever like looks at John and sort of like, can you do something about this guy? If she ever does anything like that, he'll step in. But until that point, he's just going to make sure that he doesn't make a threatening action towards her.
Fair. Yeah. All right. Casariel, what do you do?
So in contrast to how eloquent and lovely the High Priestess is, though Casariel looks every bit the part, she is taking bits of food, if there are any out, like grapes and...
Sure, there's a bowl of grapes on the table.
Yeah. She'll just take a few in her hands, and she says, there's a ring missing. Have you heard anything about that?
To the butler, right?
Yeah, you. Hello. Yeah. Excuse me. Hi.
The butler stops dusting off the bookcase, and he's like, "Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
What can I help?
A ring. A ring. Have you seen it?
I'm sorry. My wife has passed away a couple of years ago, but I've been married for 40 years, and
no, there's a ring missing. Missing ring. Missing ring. There it is. Have you seen it?
Are you? Did you lose a ring, ma'am?
Not me. No. It was a gentleman outside. One of your guests.
One of the guests lost a ring, you say?
You know what? I think I'm mistaken. You have a good night. She's assessed that he knows nothing about it, and she's turned around. She is over this conversation and heading back outside.
As you walk away, he has that vagrant look on his face, like the... As you walk away, and like he keeps that until you are like a little ways away, and like just eyeing your profile, and he's like, "Right, you are, ma'am." And he turns back to just dusting the books.
Yeah. She's just gonna look at Carla and be like, mm-mm.
Yeah. Well,
oh, she has more grapes though. On the way past that bowl again.
Right. I sort of go like, you know, if you see anything interesting tonight, you let me know. I mean, it's my whole job. I say to the two of them as I sort of exit out, and I'm like, they are absolutely awful. I hate socialites. Okay.
I agree. I honestly couldn't stand one moment more. But do you want some grapes?
Sure. And she'll like pop one in her mouth. Chew and sort of think about the people that she's interacted with for the night.
No, this is... Should we go back outside? I mean, to be honest with you, I probably should care, but I don't about this ring. You know, I just don't. So.
Very well. I'll continue on my investigation. You head out and make sure the priestess isn't bored to death.
Oh. All right. See you later.
See you later.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy to open any closed doors, so I just... like a Jedi.
Sure. Cool.
Love it.
You open up a Carla. You open up a door and you see a living room, if you will, living quarters, with a couple of armoires adorning the room. There's a rather large piano in the room. There's a corner with a couple of sofas and a fireplace. There's another mirror in this room, by the way, and there's 2 people in active conversation near the fireplace.
Mm-hmm. Hey, are these cupboards? Or are they just desks?
They're like armoire, so there's like, with the really large
Oh,
doors. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, yeah. All right. Hey, do they seem in deep conversation? Like, are they paying attention to me as I enter?
The door flings open, so they definitely shoot you a glance for a second, and then they return to their conversation. Not a deep conversation per se, but you're talking.
Okay, so while they're talking, I'm just going to try to very stealthily make my way down this way.
Okay.
And kind of get hair. I mean, a natural 19 on stealth for that, but yeah. Just to be sure. And then I'm going to very carefully open the armoire and just peek inside, just a little peek.
All right, I'll honor that under the stealth throw that you just did.
Okay.
Opening up the armoire, you notice that there is a vast amount of plates in this cupboard. Or armoire,
Okay.
I should have to say.
No rings. Okay, and then I'm going to shut it. And then I'm going to... My mage hand, actually appears in front of people. It's not invisible, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
You're not a rogue.
Okay. Makes things a little bit...
Flashback
Okay.
to the previous...
All right, then. So then I'm going to call upon my unseen servant once more. Ritual casting, so he just appears. And Boo is going to float along until he reaches this armoire and sort of opens it. But I'm kind of continuing this way, looking back to be like, oh, the wind must have opened it, and I go to kind of go and shut it again. But before I do, I look inside.
Just more bits and bobs, a couple of vases, and nothing that immediately catches your interest. So you purposely do this also to get their attention, right? You want them to see this or what?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, the wind, it's so drafty in here. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to start sort of making my way towards them now, and I'm going to be like, pleasure to meet you both. I'm Carla Lilacart.
They're both looking at you right now, and the lady first extends her hand in that very lady that pose rather than that one.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly expecting a kiss, but it's what ladies do, right?
Yeah, Carla sort of takes it like that, and that's a go.
She says, "I don't recognize you. I'm Duchess Morwen of Daggerford. Welcome to my house."
Oh yes, the Duchess. Yes, I was I was a +1 with one of the guests. I hope that would be okay.
Excuse me, you are... What's your business here?
I'm a little lost, actually. I was invited as... oh shit, she's probably met everyone at this point. As the... one of the ladies Zalaria's guards, yes. I have been helping them with an investigation, and I just,
For the Moon Priestess.
Yes. Pardon?
Yeah. For the Moon Priestess.
Yes, the Moon Priestess. They're one of her guards. I'm working on an investigation for her, and this party is part of this investigation.
Now, the Moon Priestess did mention that you would bring a detail with her. Fair enough. I hope you can help yourself to all the amenities we have. I hope you enjoy the party.
Thank you so much. Actually, one of the things that I have noticed is it appears some objects have been going missing all night. One of them includes this gorgeous ring. I don't suppose you've seen it around, have you? Or you wouldn't know that of anyone in your, in your staff who has sticky fingers.
She gives you a very, very nasty look at that. Just a mentioning of her staff potentially being thieves. She says, I am pretty sure that you don't exactly chose your words carefully there, but rest assured, I would What are you talking about? What ring?
Oh, I was talking to a gentleman outside. He said his ring has gone missing. I didn't catch his name. I think he was the incredibly rich one. You know, the richest man in the world currently. Apparently his ring went missing. And I've just been looking for it. I mean, he could have dropped it. I checked the bathroom to see if he, like, put it down after he washed his hands, but just in case you knew where it's gone.
The magic ring of the Count. He talked about that when he came in, didn't he? She looks over to the gentleman next to her and he says, "Yeah, the ring."
Do I notice a distinct change in his, like, visage at that?
Give me an insight check.
Cool. Wait, another 19. Let's go. Okay, and with my insight, that's plus 3. That is 22.
You do. He perks up at, like, this mentioning the ring.
What's your name, sir? Sorry. Didn't quite catch it earlier.
He looks at you and puts his hands behind his back and stands up straight and he says, "I'm Viscount Hamilton Winthrop. Nice to meet you."
Pleasure to meet you, Viscount Winthrop. This ring, I mean, do you know anything about it? I'm just trying to help out while I'm here. The lady has more than enough protection.
No, I'm not one for gossip, especially not with people like yourself. But I believe I've seen a magic ring today with the and he shoots a cursory glance over at the Duchess. He says, "What's his name again?" She says, "You don't need a cardinal, do you?" "Yes, I do. The cardinal had a lot of rings on today."
Cardinal. I don't believe I've met him yet. Oh, that's quite interesting. I suppose I'll go give him a chat. Maybe he dropped one, picked up the wrong one. I would never assume that your guests or your staff. Sorry, that was a blunder. I mean,
Yes, indeed it was.
Sorry. I'm not particularly well versed with high society. But yes, I'll check out what's going on with the cardinal. And, okay. How do I want to play this?
You tell me.
Figure it out.
I'm open to persuasion.
Is he
I would
doing
probably bash
that?
on a wall.
The house crumbles as you do so.
Yes, okay.
The ring
Okay.
was up behind there.
This is my plan.
Mhm.
The towish, if it can be the toad, but I think the Count, not the Count, the Viscount is lying to me, distinctly, and trying to put the blame on someone else. However, to cast Charm Person...
Just a quick, this is OC, right?
Out of character.
out of character, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I
Oh,
just want to
yeah.
make sure. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm not saying this to the Viscount. I think he's lying to me.
I think you're lying to me.
But Charm Person is a very obvious spell to cast.
Yes.
So the Duchess would see that. So I am going to do something, and I don't know if it's going to work. But from this area, you hear the voice of the butler go, "Duchess, you are needed in the courtyard." Come as I cast Minor Illusion over here to try and
What
get
is
her
your-
to
What
move
is
away.
your spell save? I don't know. I know this spell doesn't have a spell save, but what is your spell save? It's like
My
13?
spell save is DC 12.
12, okay. That works.
It works. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So,
So
this.
the Duchess will look up and be like, "Oh, I'll be right out, Mr. Tibbs."
And
She
as
looks
she's
over
leaving,
at, she look over the Vice and she said, "I will be right back. Do entertain this. Your name was again?"
Carla Lilacott.
Carla, right. Do entertain her if you will. Thank you. And she moves over to the garden.
Okay, so with that then, I'm going to cast Charm Person on the Viscount. I'm going to go,
Okay.
you are just so interesting. I want to know more about you.
Excuse me.
And the save for that is 12, wisdom save.
All right, let's see. I totally failed that. I got like a 3.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Well, plus 2. So it's a good 6, but still, that's 5. But that's still not
Okay.
enough.
I think you're so interesting. And I really, really want to find this ring. I mean, it would be such a shame if it had gone missing. Would you happen to know where exactly it is, now that it's just the two of us?
He looks at you, and the look in his eyes changes as he looks at you after you've cast a spell, and he says, "Now, you see, Miss Lying Heart. It's You see, I'd rather not be too straightforward, if you catch my drift. But since we are alone over here,
Completely alone.
perhaps we could make an arrangement later on."
If I'm still around. But for now, I really need that ring.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'll have an arrangement with much worse.
Let's just say rings aren't supposed to be in the kitchen, are they?
Are they in? Where exactly in the kitchen? Are they hidden in the pies? Hidden in the barbels? Or hidden on the chef?
It's a large box of flour, and I noticed that there was a ring on that when I was scolding the gentleman over there for making sausages just the way that I don't like them. And I noticed a ring over there, and I find it so peculiar.
And it was a ring with a purple stone on top, yes?
Purple and glowing, yes.
Oh, that's very good to know. You know, you look like you're going to need a lot of energy for later for our arrangement. So why don't you go and take a nap on that little couch there? Just take a little kip.
You know what? I might need my virility later on. I'll accept your offer. I hope to see you when I awake.
Oh, you will see many great things when you awake. And
I can hardly wait.
I'm going to
You lie
very
down on the
quick.
couch.
Yeah, I'm going to very, very quickly run towards the kitchen now, sprinting quite fast as I go to see if I can.
Before you go to the kitchen,
Yeah.
also quickly looking at the time, should we quickly take a break?
Yes, please.
It's break time. Exciting.
Yes.
We will return in a moment. And we're back.
Wonderful. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your break as much as we did. And we're going to go dive right back into the story. When we just left, Carla was on her way to the kitchen to do things. Carla, what are you going to do?
So as I burst sort of back into the kitchen very quickly, I'm like, don't mind me. And I'm going to skid forward until I reach here, where I see this is a bag of flour kind of poking out, isn't it?
It sure is.
Okay, I'm going to skid and sort of look in that bag of flour. Do I see a ring?
Give me an investigation check on that.
10?
Looking at the top of the bunch of flour, there is a immaculate gold ring with a purple stone on it, and it looks very luxurious. And
I'm going to-
as you are looking into the bag of flour, the kitchen help behind you, he turns around at you with a cleaver in his hand, and he says, "What are you doing? Hey, you're not supposed to be here."
I'm going to turn around, not even touch the ring, just turn around and very stealthily try to reach back and grab it.
Give me a sleight of hand check on that.
Natural 20. I'll take a picture. The first one. Okay, that's great. That's great.
First
okay.
one of the campaign. I love it.
First one of the campaign. Okay.
That's another thing, by the way, for those of you watching. That's the thing we intend to do. Every natural 20 that we get, we'll take a picture of that, and it'll probably end up on Instagram, I imagine.
Or Twitter.
Whatever.
I'm
social
gonna
media
forget
channel.
so many of those.
No, the thing is, Daniel, my good friend, you need to roll natural 20s to begin with.
I was gonna say we needed to do that with natural ones, but the first like
There we
5
go.
rolls were natural ones. So.
Alrighty.
So a
Natural
natural
20.
20 on yes. So you like I imagine like well, I don't imagine. Flavor it. What do you do?
Okay, so I like snatch the ring from the flower and I sort of just kind of tuck it into one of the many pockets that are just kind of strewn about my person. And I'm like, I could have sworn this was the bathroom. I am so sorry. Oh my goodness, I've got to. Okay, okay. Sorry. And I'm going to try and get out as fast as possible.
Before you do, I would advise you to move your character back unless you really want to go, because you have a natural 20.
Oh.
So turning around, with the bag of flour behind you, you react the way you do, like, and then you reach behind you to grab the ring from the bag of flour, and you notice that in your hand you have a hand of flour.
Oh. Interesting.
And I'll leave it up to you. Which way, like, if you still want to like vacate the kitchen, you totally can. But it's something you need to know.
Oh. Okay, if I don't actually feel the ring go into my hand.
No, it's very like a natural 20. That's very clearly a hand of flour, nothing more.
Okay. I'm going to. Okay, then we're going to backtrack. I didn't say I'm going to the bathroom. I'm instead going to push the flower down onto the ground. I kind of reach in and then I realize, oh, it's not there. So then I kind of tip it forward and I'm like, oh, I am so clumsy. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to turn around and sort of look like I'm trying to scoop the flower back into the bag. But what I'm really doing is looking to see if the ring had fallen, is like down at the bottom or something like that.
No, the ring is still very much at the top.
It's floating there?
It's on top of the flower. Like it's on, like literally on top of it.
But it's an illusion.
I don't know.
Okay. So oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. Does the chef do anything at this point? As I'm like hastily scooping it in.
He's looking at you. A, why did you enter his kitchen? And B, why are you throwing around his flour? So he's...
Okay. Then I'm going to go. Oh, did you pick it up? I'm going to see if my unseen servant can pick up the ring.
Okay. Your unseen servant will reach for the ring, and as it reaches for it, it scoops it up, and it scoops it up, and it scoops it up, and the ring just stays there.
Interesting. Oh, this flower is, it's quite a pain, and I'm going to shove as much of it back into sort of the bag as possible, and then kind of place the bag on top, the kind of backwards, like back where it was, but it looks distinctly lumpy and bad. Is the ring moving with the flower, or is it staying sort of...
Staying exactly where it is as you scoop out.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. This is either an illusion or... Okay. What can I do? What can I do? Oh, I'm not too sure what I want to do. This is quite a pickle. Okay, then I'm going to... You'll see a sort of purple swirl start to happen on the floor, and sort of whispers and just sounds of nearly screaming sort of start to emerge from it as a skeletal, like, purple hand bursts through, like Dawn of the Dead style, and kind of makes its way over and tries to pick up the ring with my mage hand.
Your guess is as good as mine, everyone. What?
Oh, sorry. I'm casting like mage hand, and it like bursts out through the floor because it looks like a skeletal hand like bursting through the floor. That's like a purple sparkly one.
That's fantastic. That's horrible.
And tries to pick it up.
It can't.
It can't either. Okay. Oh.
It tries to pick it up, and it tries to pick it up, and it tries to pick it up.
I feel like there's a miscommunication. Is it passing through, or is it just like not successful? Okay, that's
No,
the...
it's going right through it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it
with
almost looks like, it seems like it's distorting the image.
okay, okay. So nothing that's not of me can pick it up. I can't pick it up. So getting more frustrated, I just kind of like turn and like stomp, and I look at the chef, and I'm like, I just hit a box. Oh, I look and I point at the ring, and I'm like, what's going on with that?
The chef, the assistant chef, walks over and looks at the bag and says, "That be a bunch of flour, lassie. And a ring."
There's a ring. You see the ring?
Aye.
Pick up the ring.
Is it yours? He asks.
No. Pick up the ring.
He walks over and he tries to, and his hand goes like right through the ring. See?
Oh, that count. That fight count. Okay. Guard this ring. Guard this ring with your life, otherwise you will lose not only your head, but your job, and that would be very unfortunate. So you guard
And
this ring with your life.
as you say that to him, the ring just dissipates.
Ah. You won't lose your head or your job.
Immediately goes back.
I take it back. Okay. I don't actually have that authority or power. Did you see that all night? Like, has that been there all night?
Last, I've been chopping vegetables here.
Okay. I'm going to leave the room. And do I see the butler is in here? Yeah?
The butler has moved over here to dust off various things of this room. Yes.
Okay. Right, then I'm just going to, oh my god, make my way out.
Right. While you're walking towards the hallway again, John, Casariel, what are you doing?
Nothing has changed from our perspective, right?
The Jester is still making terrible jokes. The High Moon Priestess is starting to have that look of, what am I doing here?
I'm gonna glance over at Casariel and be like, "What do you think we should do about? Do you think we?" He's gonna sidle up to her and sort of like talk under his breath. What do we do in this situation? We're just supposed to guard her, but I don't. Are we supposed to interfere?
I mean, yeah. Let's get that guy away from her.
All right. he's gonna walk over to the Jester. Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
I haven't seen you before. Hi. Would you like a good joke?
I'd love one. Hey, would you like to tell me a joke over here by the food? I'm actually hungry, but I would love to hear a joke. And I'm gonna try to steer him towards the food table over here.
Hey, happy for an audience that is actively interested in him. He follows you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over towards the food, make sure he's following us, so that and Casariel can do whatever Casariel's doing. But I just want to get his attention focused away from Zelaria.
And Casariel, you pick position to like guard the Moon Priestess, or?
Yep. I'm gonna stand behind her and just keep watch.
I'm gonna pick up something off the table and nibble at it while faking listening to this Jester.
And he's just waving his hands around at you and being like, "So, what holds up the moon?"
The Moon Priestess, the sky, what?
It's moonbeams.
Got another one?
And he looks at you, and he thinks for a second. Yeah, you're with a, and he turns around and looks at Casariel and Zelaria. He said, "You're with them, right?"
Yes, I'm with them. But I wanted to hear some of your jokes. I've been I've been hearing some of them all night, but they're wonderful. Wanted to get some food and continue to hear them.
Let's get something to eat first. I'm a bit hungry.
Here, yeah. I'll start handing him a plate. Would you like anything?
I just gobble of the wine will be fine. He grabs a goblet of wine and starts drinking it.
John is not really hiding his like disdain is not the right word for it. It's more like just the physical embodiment of wow.
As he's drinking his wine, you notice that he like more than once shoots a glance at Casariel. Like he's doing one of those things that like people do that, right? Like they we've all been there. Sitting at a table, you're like, hey, then that person is behind you, and you're gonna do your best not to show that you're looking. So what you do is you take a sip of your drink, and while you're doing that, you do that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's doing.
She is
looking over
actively
Casariel.
not looking over there, not making eye contact at all.
So I think John doesn't notice this at first. If he keeps doing it, he'll like catch on. But initially, he's
Every single sip.
Yeah. So tell me, friend, what brings you here? What like you're entertaining the folks here? What tell me more about yourself.
Oh, such a long story. I'm just someone who tells jokes.
That can't be all there is to you. John's trying to keep his attention over here just to get him away from Zelaria.
I shoots another glance over at Casariel and looks back at you. He says, "Is she part of your group? Is she with you?"
Yes, we're teammates. We're squad mates.
Where's she from?
The same place I'm from. Gonna have a stare down with him.
You've been there too? How
to Neverwinter?
Did you get out? Oh, Neverwinter. Yes, Neverwinter. Of course. Yes. You've been to. I've been to Neverwinter. Yes, it's easy to get out of Neverwinter. Yes, Neverwinter's just Neverwinter. Yes, she's from Neverwinter too. Okay.
Yes. So where are you from?
Many places. Daggerford. I live in Daggerford right now.
Oh, it's a lovely place. Once again, he's trying to make small talk. He's just trying to keep his attention over here because he thinks he's harmless. He's just irritating. So he's, running interference.
As the small talk As the small talk continues, like you will keep his attention, but he will shoot the cursory glance, specifically at Casariel. Like Zelaria, not so much, but now that he's gotten sight of Casariel, he keeps looking at her.
If he makes any moves towards her, John will probably address that. Like, what's so interesting about my partner over there?
Nothing.
You better not catch her laughing at you, or better not let her catch you laughing at her.
No.
I don't want to see your head. As much as I don't know you very well, but you seem like a decent fellow. I wouldn't want anything foul to happen to you.
She reminds me of someone a long time ago. Never mind. One other joke.
Can I hear this happening?
John knows about her search. At that, he's sort of gonna like make a gesture to get her attention.
Right?
Come here. He's gonna like make the like come here gesture and whatever they use to communicate as
She'll excuse
military.
herself. And
My friend
enjoying
here.
the jokes, are you?
That's one way of putting it. My friend here actually has mentioned that you seem familiar to him in some way.
Familiar.
Yes.
In what way?
I'm sorry, I never caught your name, Mr.
Juggles. Juggles is my stage name. Everyone knows me by Juggles.
Hello, Juggles. I'm John.
Hi.
It's nice to formally meet you. This is my partner, Casariel.
Casariel, what a lovely name.
Thank you. In what way do I seem familiar to you?
Yeah, you just have a. You have some faces are just very familiar. I imagine yours is too. No offense, of course.
In what way do I seem familiar to you? Do I look like someone you've met before, perhaps, or perhaps my name seems familiar?
I would have remembered someone as pretty as you. You have a very familiar face, is all. I'm sorry. Do you want another joke?
Mother, and I look quite a bit alike. Perhaps you've met her.
Your
Her name is
mother?
yes, my mother.
That wouldn't be
She's also a
impossible, would it?
princess.
There's no way.
No, why not?
She wouldn't leave that place.
John, I think we should. I think we should show our friend here the rest of the grounds, don't you?
I think that would be appropriate,
You-
yes.
Have you seen the bathroom? It is exquisite. In fact, there is a bath that is still warm in there. And in the other room, there's grapes. They're delicious. Would you like some? Yes,
How-
come this way.
How quaint.
Come, John. Let's take him. No, sure. Come
You
on.
wanna take him,
please.
buddy?
I insist. I insist. I do.
Okay, go ahead. He's not gonna resist.
John's sort of just keeping an eye, making sure she doesn't hurt him too badly immediately.
I'm going to hurt him if he doesn't tell me. You know this about me.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and this is, and I'm going to take the dagger out from behind me and just look at it. This is the hallway. You were saying it was so loud out there, I couldn't hear you. Do you know my mother? It's funny, isn't it? Until it's not. Do you know her?
Don't.
I assure you, this is something I am very intent on getting to the bottom to. So, if you do know anything, my recommendation is that you tell me.
I He'll do it. He'll do it. You just seem familiar. That's all it is. Please, I'm just an entertainer.
Sure. Do I think he's lying to me?
Did you really need an investigation on that?
I
Feel free
mean-
to roll it, but
The
Go ahead.
inside.
Oh, juggles.
Sorry, yeah, an insight. Yeah, go ahead.
Ugh. Shit. The 13.
He's lying through his teeth.
Juggles, what did you mean by can't come back? You said those words a few times when you were talking about Casariel over there. What do you mean? Trust us, we're friends.
Everyone is a friend at first. Promises of glittering gold and power. And then they leave you. All
How
of
about
you.
this, Juggles? I've been looking for my mother for years. In fact, it is the most important thing in my life. And if you know where she is, I will hurt you very badly if you don't tell me. Right here. And we can cover it up because, who would believe you over us? Do you think anyone would notice if I stuffed your body in one of these suits of armor? How long do you think it would take them to realize that you're in there?
John points out, he goes, "Look, we've already dismantled one. It's perfect for hiding." Gesturing to the front hall where there's still scattered, pieces of statue.
You wouldn't dare, do you? I mean, I'm harmless.
What do you think?
Friend, you do seem harmless, and I don't want to see anything bad befall you. That's not why we're here. This is a very important piece of information for us, and
I'm just gonna toss the knife up, and catch it by the hilt casually.
I'm gonna try to put like a hand on his back, not threatening, but like reassuringly, almost like rubbing his like, you don't have to be afraid. Come on. Well, the knife is circling in front of him.
Casariel. He looks at you. You didn't introduce yourself just yet to him, did you?
I've been saying her name pretty constantly.
That is true. But she didn't hear that. Casariel.
Yes.
He reaches out and takes your hand, like the one that's not holding the dagger. And he holds it in between his both hands and he says, I know. I know that you will forgive me. And he lets go of your hand and he reaches into a pocket and quickly breaks a little stone that he has with him. And as that happens, a little swirl of purple reaches into his nose, and you see him.
But
Hi! Would you like a joke? And he cast Forget on himself.
would we know what this was?
You don't necessarily know the spell Forget because it's a very high level spell, but you definitely know that there's something up here. Like, you don't smell or notice anything other than the visual that I just gave you, but something just happened, like that you see.
Casariel, I'm gonna sort of like keep an eye on him and like side up to Casariel and be like, what do you think he was on about?
Something I read in my mother's notebook. Something about it. Something about him is familiar. I think he knows something. I think he truly knows something.
All right.
His eyes dart like back and forth between you two, and after you guys are just conversing, he's like, "All right, I'll just go into the garden and entertain the people there.
One moment, Juggles. One moment. As much
Have
as
we
I,
met?
You were telling some jokes, and people told us that there was a fantastic joke teller here. Just one moment. As much as I hate to admit it, she might know something. Do you want to go find our friend, the short friend?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she's somewhere around here. Don't know. I left her in the study. I think it's had a piano in there.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on him out in the garden. I'll keep him entertained, keep him around. You go and get her and find us out there. Juggles, would you like to go see what they have at the food table and tell me some of your jokes?
Oh, I could use a drink. Yes. And he
John.
goes over to the table with you.
Yes,
Keep an eye on him. Be dangerous.
I will.
Don't let him near the High Priestess.
No, of course not. So I'm gonna sort of be with him and sort of escort him over to the food table and start listening to jokes again.
He literally tells all the same jokes that you've heard before over the last half hour.
And
Like as if he didn't tell them before.
John sort of fakes laughter, but just keeps him entertained.
I'm borderline considering if you want psychic damage for that, but I
Carla.
But yes, I found the ring, but it wasn't. It was an illusion. I couldn't pick it up. I did chant Viscount in there, and I have to go on. Yeah,
Something is happening here. The weird Jester that was at the table. Remember you talked to him?
Yeah,
The,
Juggles.
Yes, Juggles. We were questioning him. You know, we were like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he took this stone out of his pocket and crushed it, and it was purple smoke. Have you ever seen anything like that? Either have I.
I mean, only like this, and I sort of like bring up the hand again, and you see the purple smoke come out of it, and some magical entities use smoke of various colors. Not too
Things going
sure.
on here. I think we're being purposely misled. I
Think so too.
maybe it's the count. Was he a count? Or was it?
Viscount. Yeah, he's in here. He's in here. Come on. And it might get dicey, so have something ready.
But the one that gave us this, the one that said he was missing the ring.
Oh, that's. You mean?
Like he sent us on
Count.
a wild,
Yeah,
wild goose chase. You know, like.
Battenfield. Okay. Yeah, let's go talk to him first.
All right.
Or yes, okay. But one moment, please. And I'm going to just pop my head back in the door. Is he still sleeping? Cool. Okay. I have about like 45 minutes until that wears off, and then I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. So let's try and get this done fast. And we're going to rush out towards Battenfield. And when I reach his table, I'm going to be like, found the ring. The ring was an illusion. Is that part of the magic of it?
He grins at you and he says, "You are a clever lass, aren't you?" Yes. It's a ring of illusion. A ring of trickeries, it's called. It allows me to perform little tricks once a day. That's what I like about it. What of it? You found the ring, but you didn't, you said?
Yes, but I tried to scoop it up. It wouldn't pick up.
Sounds like someone did an illusion, then.
Oh, God. That's what I said.
I don't
Okay.
much enjoy being toyed with. So if this is something that's amusing you, I think perhaps you should just tell us now.
He looks at you with like a little curl of his lip, and he says, "I assure you that me missing the ring is very real. Actually, amusing as it might be that perhaps someone used the ring to actually forge an illusion of the ring is interesting. But
Do
I'm still very much missing my ring."
you know the Viscount?
have you met him?
He's a military man, I believe.
Yeah, but did you shake his hand at any point throughout the night? Did you see him at any point throughout the night?
I did not. As a matter of fact, he was very much in conversation with the Duchess, I believe, for the rest of the evening. I only shot him a cursory glance. I didn't give him a hand.
Who did you give a hand to tonight?
He thinks for a second. He says, I shook hands, if I remember correctly, with the Marquis. The Marquis was the first one to be here, together with his wife. After that, I saw the Cardinal.
His name came up as well.
I saw the Lord of Davenport. I gave him a hand. Honestly, that's about it. The rest of the people I did talk to, but I didn't give him a hand.
I like things that are very efficient. Perhaps we should just call everyone out here and ask them all if they stole your ring. What do you think of that?
I think that will be a very efficient way to do it. And if you think that you can actually succeed in doing so with all these types around here, be my guest.
Do you think I am incapable of it? Is the better question.
Yeah, it's not so much of capability, ma'am. These people don't get ordered around. These people don't get asked. They ask.
They're not very forthcoming with questions without influence, anyway.
Surely the Duchess needs to make some sort of an announcement tonight, at least welcoming her guests. Does she not?
I mentioned
Where
a
did
ring
you,
was missing. She didn't care for it.
Where did you, pray tell, saw the illusion?
In the kitchen, on top of the flower. Couldn't pick it up.
The illusion that the ring produces only lasts for about a minute. So, if it is where it is, it can't be there for long. That means that the person who's cast that illusion should be in the area.
The butler, Davenport. Okay. Do you know exactly how much of the range it is?
Of the ring?
Yes.
I haven't used it beyond like my visual range, so I'm not sure how far it is in total. Wouldn't be too far, I believe, but I'm no mage. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Useless. Okay. So the people that were in the area.
You say that out loud?
I mutter it under my breath.
Okay.
Yes.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, so the people that were in the area were that opera singer, the butler and the kitchen staff, and depending on how far the reaches, that fucking Viscount and even Davenport, but Davenport didn't seem to care much for magic. I'm saying this to Casariel. I'm kind of pulling her aside and saying this to her.
Yes. Well,
Hiding
I
country?
am perhaps a bit indelicate about these things. I would just recommend calling everyone out here and searching them all, maybe lining them up and, buffing them up a bit. Well, John's better at this than I am. I'm really more the muscle.
We'll turn this soiree into one to remember, to be honest. Shoot you a grin.
I'm going to really look at him up and down and see if I see the ring on him.
All right, give me a investigation check on that.
Natural 20 again?
All right. As a matter of fact, he has a couple of rings on his hand, none of which are purple.
Okay. Shit. All right.
I have an idea. Maybe it's time for the High Priestess to make some sort of announcement or something. Maybe we can get everyone out here, and then we can examine everyone as we walk through the crowd. If one of them asks for everyone to come out here, then it wouldn't be us asking, lonely as we are. And I blink at him pointedly a few times. And the subtext silently is, you fuckface. Basically.
And anyone who doesn't come out, then we can account for them. And if they don't come out, then clearly they're suspicious. Sorry, I had a bit too much of the wine.
Surreptitious.
Yes.
Surreptitious.
Sounds like
She had half a glass, but her size, it means that gets her drunk really quick.
that's basically a barrel. Yeah, that's.
Perhaps we should ask the Duchess if she wants us to gather everyone up for her announcement for the evening. John be great at that. John's great with people.
Okay. I mean, wouldn't it be easier to get your lady to get everyone gathered?
Well, it's not
The
a lot,
Duchess.
so.
Okay. I can do this, and then I like you hear just from like the corner, beside her is like the Duchess is calling everyone to like the courtyard now, but through minor illusion again.
Sure.
I'm gonna look at John to just start clapping.
Well, let's see. What was your
It's 12.
12? I'll just roll one like for the whole rabble. Let's see what happens. 15. People look up
Fuck.
and it's like, I really don't have to
I
mean, people just talk.
I'm
Oh,
gonna,
the Duchess! Did you say the Duchess was going to say something? Oh, good. Everyone make way, right? I'll begin to like kind of clear a path, and I'll walk over to the Duchess and say, "My lady,
Yeah.
may I escort you to the front for your announcement? Welcome
My
your
announcement?
guests." So,
My announcement of what, my dear?
oh, I couldn't presume to know. You are so grand. But I would be quite honored to escort you to make sure that you get there safely.
But of course.
And I will walk in front of her, shooing away the people that are not in her way.
Where do you want to bring
Specifically,
her?
definitely the Jester person.
John
Is there a spot? I mean, I guess maybe like right here. Here.
John is like, what the fuck is going on? Like the guy you wanted to talk about. He's okay. I guess we're doing this now.
Yeah, so I send, I kind of quickly move away over here and send minor illusion in like Mr. Tibbs' voice. Please gather for the Duchess. Just sort of vaguely in their direction to get them to go over.
I'll
And I
give
get
that
my-
one more save.
And I'm just gonna like try to catch Kyra's eye and gesture for her to get the people inside outside.
All right.
I'm gonna pop my head in the door here and I'm like, Davenport and Dame Davenport, the Duchess is making a huge announcement outside. You must come hear it.
Oh, really? I'll be right out. One moment, please.
Okay. No, I'm very serious. She seems to be quite distressed. You need to make your way out right now. And I'm going to try and deceive them into thinking it's urgent.
All right. It seems everyone is joining you in the courtyard except for two people that you've seen so far, which is the cook and the Viscount, which you would suspect is still sleeping.
All right. Then
Everyone
I
else
am
is
going.
gathered and looking at the Duchess intently.
I'm going to make my way inside. What if the wall would fucking let me? Oh no, it's closed. Okay, that's why.
Can't open the door.
It helps to open the door. Yes.
It sure does. It sure does. Yes, I'm gonna make my way inside and get to the place where the Viscount was,
Yep.
which is taking a moment.
I'm just
Sorry.
stalling. I'm going to use thaumaturgy to like behind the Duchess say, "Oh, she's lovely. She's so grand. Oh, the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life." And like, just kind of like in the crowd, like building
She's
her up.
positively glowing at that.
Yeah. So I kind of give his cheek a tap, and I'm like, okay, come on, wake up. Viscount, it's
Oh,
me.
yes. Mm.
Yes.
Well,
You
I'm
have to
ready.
go- No, you have. Please, you have to go and listen to the Duchess speak.
Oh, I'd very much rather do, like, we're alone now, aren't we?
Oh no, but I want you to go out and listen to the Duchess first.
Give me a persuasion check on that.
Well, he's charmed.
Is he
Is he?
still? Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, no, yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, only if I can get a little smooch afterwards, a little taste.
Go see the Duchess and try the wine.
No, it's a good idea. And he scoots over.
Okay, and then she's going to like she is running. She if you can imagine, she is sprinting through this house, completely improper for where she is.
And I am just keeping up this applause. Like it's unnaturally long out here. It makes no sense that we're still clapping.
It's just like, thank you, like, and it's just like, and it's not going down, I imagine.
No, and
This is-
John is also like, isn't she something, everybody?
Oh.
It's like these half-hearted claps as
Yeah.
well, and she's just doing like it's that exchange of pleasantries that everyone hates, and it takes way too long.
Okay. Yes,
Cool.
get
Carla.
to the courtyard. The Duchess is making a speech out in the courtyard. Everyone has to be there, including you.
A speech for what? For me?
You have, a speech for you out in the courtyard right now. Everyone just loved their dinner. It was wonderful. Go.
Finally, no recognition. I'll be alright out. And he will follow you to the courtyard.
We make our way out.
Incredible. It's really such a lovely party. It's incredible.
Yes, fantastic. Juggles, isn't it a fantastic party?
All right.
Never mind. Calm down, Juggles.
The courtyard falls silent as the clapping dies down, and the Duchess breathes in to say her first speech. And as she does so, Juggles breaks in. He's like, "So," and he tries to start a joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna like grab his arm and essentially try to wheel him away and say, "Juggles, would you tell me more of your jokes over here?"
Cool. He'll go.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, out of the way.
Yep. The Duchess looks at everyone and says, first of all, thank you all for coming here. The soiree is a yearly event that everyone in Daggerford that is of any meaning always looks forward to. And I'm glad that all of you keep turning up every year. It warms my heart. I would like to give a special a special notion to Miss Leland and to the wonderful Miss Rowley for joining us this year. They had the mystery invitation, and it's such a pleasure to have them here. So a round of applause for these ladies, please. And
As the
And one
applause
of those-
starts up,
a whole bunch
Carla
of
is
golf
going to
claps.
go invisible. Just,
Yeah.
You're standing at the back. You totally can. Sure.
amazing. For second level, let's go. Okay. Continue.
All right. The Duchess continues. She says, other than that, I would like to say that even though we've had our hardships over here in Daggerford over the year, the continued street crime, all the troubles that we've had, the political shift that we've had, and the change of the mayors that we've had in recent years, we still stay headstrong in our endeavors, and it's making me very let's just say I'm very happy to have you all here, and please help yourself to some wine and food while you're here, and let's make this one of the best soirees yet. And there's another round of golf claps.
Here, here.
As the claps are happening again, I'm going to reach into the butler's pockets to see if I can find the ring.
Okay then. Let's do a sleight of hand check on that.
You doke. Not bad. That's 21.
You, even though you're very small, you slip your hand into the pocket of the butler. And as you do so, your hand touches a very small, delicate, and cold metal object. As you pull it out, to onlookers, it might look like there's a ring floating in the air, but this is an immaculate gold ring with a purple stone on top of it. And this sure as hell is not an illusion.
I quickly
The butler
pocket
hasn't
it.
noticed it yet. All right.
I quickly pocket it, and I'm going to dart this way and hide underneath the bushes that you mentioned before,
Yep.
and become uninvisible again, and continue walking off in this direction as if nothing had happened.
Perfect. People are still like golf clapping and then just turning around and just talking where they stand.
That was literally, I was like, am I going to do the chef or the butler? Fuck, okay. Okay.
Beautiful speech, my lady. Can I get you anything? A goblet of wine, perhaps, or
That would be fine, Miss
Casariel.
Casariel. You're with the detail of Miss Leland.
Indeed.
Oh, such a lovely detail it is. Please, a goblet of wine would be fine.
Be my pleasure. And I turn around and I'm like, rich people.
So Juggles, tell me more about the phases of the moon.
You got me in a bad moment. I wasn't prepared for this.
Getting nervous. Oh.
No,
I'm walking up and I'm pouring the goblet of wine for her, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, awful. I'm so glad much. Oh shit, I forgot I was supposed to be pouring the wine for her, and I'm gonna just walk back and hand it to her.
What do you what do you call a clock on the moon?
I don't know. What do you call a clock on the moon?
A lunar tick.
So that's actually a good one. Juggles, well done.
Carla.
I'm going to sidle up next to Count Spencer Beaumont Battenfield, produce the ring, and say, "It's always the butler." I thought this would be fun. I thought there'd be a ghost. I thought it was the butler. The butler did it. Found this in his pocket.
Well found. He looks at the ring and he says, "You are a little bit of fire, aren't you? That's the ring. Well done." The butler, you said?
Yes, it was in his pocket.
Hmm.
Well, I took it. He doesn't know that I have it yet, but I don't imagine he'll be too happy when he finds it's gone.
Let's make this an evening to remember, shall we? And he turns around to the Duchess, who is near her, and he says, "Duchess, in a moment, please," in a voice that everyone can hear. And the Duchess walks forward. She says, "Yes, Spencer?" He says, "Do you remember that ring that I told you about, that I procured a couple of weeks ago? It seems that it's gone missing." And everyone just sort of like, oh Lord, oh, you didn't steal it. Oh, my. And he says, apparently someone over here has decided that they would rather steal a ring from me rather than ask for it. And that man is Mr. Tibbs, and he points in the crowd, and there's like, oh my God, people almost fainting, it's so terrible. Oh my. The butler's standing there looking back, and he's like, that is a terrible accusation, really. And he reaches into his pocket, noticing that the ring is gone. I wouldn't have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Are you Scooby-Dooing us right now?
I might be.
I am 103. I am not a child. I don't know. Everyone says that whenever I bust it. Look at this.
Right.
Carla, they have good stuff. Okay.
Right. That sounded a little more like Yoda than Scooby, but not bad.
Like Casariel, they got plenty of food over here.
Yeah. Raggy.
The Viscount and the Lord of Davenport both walk over to the butler and escort him back into the building to wait for the proper authorities to arrive. Them being both men of military, Mr. Tibbs walking begrudgingly along with them.
At least you don't have to fix that statue.
Most of the people in the courtyard just return to this is fresh gossip. So everyone's like, oh, rabble. Oh, And the Count and the Duchess are looking at each other, and she says, "That's quite an accusation, and a good one at that. How did you find out?" And the Count turns to Carla, and he says, "Well, actually, this
You
is
know
a-
how I mentioned about people having sticky fingers? Is it still distasteful now?
Are you on the side of the table like that?
Yeah, I'm like up on the table like that.
Yeah, this is one of those standing tables, so that would perfectly fit." Yeah.
Yeah, perfect for her. It's sitting for everyone else.
Wonderful. The Duchess looks at you with like a bit of a smile, and she says, "That's a lot to you, isn't it?" Well done, really. I think a proper reward would be in order here, Spencer. I'd imagine you'd agree with me. And Spencer nods and looks over at Carla, and he says, "You're an inquisitive mind, aren't you?"
I mean, it's my whole thing. Yes.
Where's your friends?
We're over there, and you see John sort of like basically sitting there like with the Jester and Casariel back at her post. They're there. They're doing their job. Seems one of them is anyway.
Let him approach, please.
Okay. I'll quickly get them.
Casariel's bum shit and get to kill the butler. That he didn't make a move. She's like, oh.
So Carla kind of peeks out and she's like gesturing at one of them to like follow her as she like darts back.
But what about the? Oh, fine. Can you please stay here, Juggles? I'll be back in a moment.
Sure. A lot of excitement going on. The Count regards all three of you and he says, "I've been here for a couple of hours and you managed to solve my little predicament in a nick of time. You are duly deserving a reward, and to be quite frank, I could give you a bag of money, but money is just money, isn't it? Do you know what?" And he was still holding that ring that you just gave him back to him, and he hands it back to you, Carl, and he says, "Perhaps you might have a better use for it than I do. It's yours."
It certainly matches my color scheme, and I'm going to slip it on.
All right.
And what do I sort of glean from it when as it goes on?
So you can decide who wants to wear it. It is a ring of trickery, which is a homebrew item. It is a ring that will allow you to cast minor illusion once per day.
I
You have to
slip
attune
it
to
back
it,
off.
but it's attunable by anyone.
I slip it back off and go. So it does like this, and I kind of click, and like a little pew, 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 pew comes out, like a little like flurry of like light shows come out with them.
Unfortunately, the ring seems to be expelled for today, as it doesn't do anything.
Okay. So okay, that's fine. I'm gonna just slip it
I
back
think-
on then, and
I think she
Yeah, I
was
was
casting
casting
minor
my own.
illusion herself.
yeah. So it does like
Oh,
stuff like that.
and that
I got
yes.
She's got it already, yeah.
That is quite good in case I ever lose my powers. Thank you very much. Okay, and I'm just gonna slip it on and keep it on as like a jewelry piece.
Sure.
I'm gonna look back at John and just give him one of those looks that's like, I told you she was the right person to find my mother.
Yes, she seems to know her way around bothering people.
The Duchess steps forward a step and she says, "Honestly, with all due respect to security detail, well done. Soirees like this are important to the high society of the town. It might not look like much, but meetings like this is the glue that keeps the high society together. And you just helped in securing that for this year. If you don't mind, I have a question for you as well, if I may."
Of course. Love questions if you haven't been able to tell.
I have a bit of a predicament, and I know this is way beyond what you might be able to offer me, but I have to ask.
beyond. Certainly not beyond.
As the Duchess of Daggerford, my interests and my responsibilities lie far beyond these walls of my manor. I govern Daggerford, and all of the troubles and tribulations that happen in our town are under my jurisdiction to a certain degree. Recently, we have had an increase of visitors that have been frequenting our town left and right. They're not doing anything per se. They try to trade with us one another, but they're... How do I say this? They're not dangerous, I feel. But they are... I'm not too sure about them. Let me put it that way. I'm not too sure about them. Now, recently, one of them has actually set up camp right outside the walls of Daggerford. And while that is technically allowed, I don't want them there. Now, I asked my guard detail to go over there and ask them to leave. My guard detail returned drunk and unsuccessful in their job. They're wonderful men, but they're not exactly the type of person to persuade a group like that to leave. You seem to be more capable in doing so. You handle yourself quite well at a party like this. Would you be able to go over there and tell them to please leave or suffer the wrath of Daggerford?
Oh, yes. I can.
Sure.
I mean, if you would will it, certainly we could try.
Will this
Wonderful.
be in service to the High Priestess, or is this, how does this involve us? Or Casariel?
Are you asking the Duchess?
Yeah. Okay, so if Casariel's into it, he's gonna be kind of
impulsive.
Yeah, he's gonna be kind of
stubborn,
reluctant, and be like, oh,
ornery. He
I
is my
suppose.
voice of reason. That's a perfectly legitimate question that I wish you didn't ask. Let's go fuck someone up.
I suppose we'll go and
If
The
I did
Duchess will look
this-
at you and she says, "Well, if it's beyond your reach or beyond what you're allowed to do by the Moon Priestess, I perfectly understand. The trouble is, looking at the way you hold yourself at the party over here, most people, with all due respect, that are not part of high society crumble under the atmosphere that a society like this brings along. You held your ground, but yes, you've even improved it. What better people to ask than you?"
I suppose we
go
can.
clear the road and make sure that there's no dangers as we exit. Certainly, it's
That's a good
secure
point.
here.
Fine. Yes. We can go clear the road of dangers, and if we happen upon this band of folk, we'll see if we can talk to them, see what they're up
Splendid. We'll be sure to entertain the Moon Priestess over here. She seems more than engaged at the moment, and when you return, of course, then you are relieved of any and all of your duties. I might even be able to give you some reward for it, some gold for it, perhaps.
to. We appreciate it, but I don't think we're allowed to accept offers or bribes from anyone. We'll do this in service of the Moon Priestess, but for that alone.
I'm
Splendid.
allowed
The-
to take bribes, though. Do keep that in mind.
Let's
Splendid then.
go
A
talk
donation
to
to the
Zoe.
temple and a little something for you then, young Miss Carla.
We'll confer with Zolaria and make sure that we can leave our post for a moment to go check the road is clear.
No, of
Perhaps
course,
you
of
could
course.
spare
Please.
one of your guard, just to stand by her in our
Keep her.
absence.
Yeah.
Well, of course, yes. I'll ask a small detail to occupy the grounds, make sure that nothing happens, sir. I understand.
If that's all, we'll take our leave.
Absolutely, please.
Casariel, a moment. Did you want to bring Carla over to the man over there? He's gonna sort of gesture towards Juggles and
No, I think maybe Carla, when some other time. Perhaps you should just go figure him out. He's strange and
I sort of already figured him out. It seems like he wasn't given enough attention as a child, which is why he's decided to be a comedian. But, past that, didn't really see much.
That hurts me right into dad jokes. I'm sorry.
out of character,
Shots fired.
do I recall correctly that he actually mentioned her mother? Like, not necessarily by name, but like, you look so much like us, something like that.
No, he mentioned a couple of times that she looks like someone he knows.
Okay.
And Casariel just made the assumption, like, do I look like my mother? To which he did not answer at all.
Okay.
I think she jumps to that conclusion a lot, just because it's like,
Yeah.
So-
I mean, you look very much
right
like
under
your
the
mother,
surface.
So, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was passing curiosity only because it's related to Casariel. If it was not, he wouldn't care. But if she says
Perfectly fine.
we should move on, by all means, and let's move out, I suppose.
All right. Do you want to pass by Leland to?
Yes.
Right.
Lady Leland, we were told that there's
Yes.
some unruly people along the road. We were wondering if we could go forth and just clear the road, make sure that there's no danger along it before we head out.
Who asked you to do this?
The Duchess, ma'am.
Right. Yes, I think that is an appropriate way to thank her for her hospitality as well. Do be back before we leave, please.
Of course. Thank you.
as you will it.
Of course. Moonlight
Lovely
Guardian.
meeting you.
And you.
What was that?
Lovely meeting you. Sorry, didn't mean to do you break into you. Okay, goodbye. He's going to hurry off. Sorry.
Okay.
And you.
Yes, and
High
you.
Priestess.
Right. So you make your way outside of the. Do you want to look at something else, or do you want to move towards the?
As far as John's concerned, we're leaving. Yeah.
Mission.
Carla's following along.
Can we just leave out through the door?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay.
At the moment, the butler is still standing there, basically just being held by two gentlemen, and waiting for the proper authorities to come and arrest poor Mr. Briggs. Mr. Tibbs, I mean.
Shame.
Why'd you do it, Mr. Tibbs? Why? What was the reason?
I
Sorry.
money, my dear. Do you know what butlers get paid nowadays?
I know, it's awful. I do understand why you'd steal, but at least make it interesting. All right, goodbye! She just kind of hurries off after hearing a very mundane answer.
Yeah. I think we're heading out through the down the road now.
Right. So heading out, Daggerford Manor is a bit of a hill. So going from there, you enter the town, and as per the description of the Duchess, they're right outside of the town walls. So as you walk outside, it's starting to grow a little darker. It's at the end of the evening. You walk towards the town walls, and near the town walls, you very clearly notice a camp being set up just outside the walls. There's a couple of wagons, and other than the wagons, you see that there's a campfire in the midst, and there's a couple of people sitting around, standing around, dancing around, having fun, having a drink, just basically enjoying themselves as you walk up there. It's just outside the city walls.
Do they look in any way like armed, threatening, or imposing?
In terms of threatening, no. In terms of armed, a couple of them have some daggers strapped to their side, the occasional rapier, common defense items that you would expect on someone who's traveling.
Right. Yeah, okay. I think John will approach, probably either taking the lead or keeping an eye out while Casariel does it, if you decide you want to. But he's not going to be holding his weapons out or anything. He's not going to try to look threatening. He's just approaching as a friend.
Yeah, I fall back and let him take the lead.
Hello. Is there someone here who? Hello. My name is John. I'm here with my friend Casariel and acquaintance. Nice to meet you. Good people.
A couple of them will turn their head towards you and smile, and they say, "Welcome. We were just having our dinner and having a drink. Won't you join us, please?"
We're actually here to check the road, make sure that everything is looking in order. I suppose we've got an important guest who's going to be passing through here. We need to make sure that the roads are clear, or at the very least, not dangerous. Seems like you've got some sort of party or festival going on here. Can you tell me more about yourselves?
Absolutely. Why don't you? And they part a little bit from each other, and they point backwards to the camp, and they say, "You should probably talk to Mr. Stanimir. He knows everything you need to know." And as they say, you see an elderly gentleman with white hair, well, what's left of it, and very, very sharp green eyes, who stands up from a box that he was sitting on and walking towards you with open hands, and he says, "Friends, welcome to our camp. My name is Stanimir. What can I help you with?"
Hi there, Stanimir. Like I said, I'm John. This is Casariel and Carla. We were told that this land is, well, not necessarily private. It seems that you're not invited or wanted by the neighbors, and I came to try to ask and see if there was a place that you might be more comfortable relocating to.
Understandable. Don't worry. We do not wish to make enemies of Lady Morwen. I have a story to tell you. First you listen, and then we go.
If we listen, then you go.
Yes.
I'm gonna look back at Casariel. I don't think it could hurt to listen to a tale.
To be fair, I'd much rather hear a story from you than anyone in there. Forgive us, you must understand, we are simply carrying out her bidding.
More than understandable. We all have someone we listen to.
I want to hear the tale, and Carla will sit up on a box and listen. I like tales,
Casariel,
like
John?
stories.
By all means, continue. Sir, we actually do have a bit of a deadline. Will this take long?
Oh, not too much.
By all means.
As you all sit down, he sits near the fire as well. And Stanimir grabs a skin of wine, and he takes a mouthful of wine and looks at the fire, the campfire that you're all sitting around, and he spits the wine into the fire. And the fire rages up in a green color and starts to show imagery in it. And as that happens, he looks at all three of you and he says, "We come from an ancient land whose name is long forgotten. A land of kings, and our enemies forced us from our homes. And now we wander the lost roads." As you look at the fire, you see that the shape within the fire is turning into a shape, the form of a man being knocked from his horse and a spear piercing his side. As Stanimir continues, he says, "One night, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed his terrible injury and quenched his thirst with wine. He survived. We asked him who he was, yet he wouldn't say. All he wanted was to return home, but we were deep in the land of his enemies. We took him as one of our own and followed him back towards his homeland. His enemies hunted him, and they said he was a prince. Yet we didn't give him up, even when their assassins fell upon us like wolves. Deep in the fire, you see that dark figure is now standing with a sword drawn, fighting off a host of shadowy shapes. This man of royal blood fought to protect us as we protected him. We bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, I owe you my life. Stay as long as you wish. Leave when you choose. And know that you will always be safe here. The figure in the dancing fire vanquishes its final foe, then disperses in a cloud of smoke and embers. Stanimy's face becomes a little bit more somber, if you will. A terrible curse has befallen our noble prince, turning him into a tyrant. We alone have the power to leave his domain. We've traveled far and wide to find heroes such as yourselves, to end our dread lord's curse and put his troubled soul to rest. Our leader, Madam Eva, knows all. Will you return to Barovia with us and speak with her? And he looks
Yes.
at each of you.
Yes, I will go with you to Barovia. Madam
'cause
Eva, did you say? No.
Yes.
Casariel, we're still
I know that.
working for the priestess.
I know that name.
How do you know the name?
Don't know, but I know it.
Name? You said Eva? Ava?
Madam Eva
Madam
knows.
Casariel, we've still got a job to do. We've got our unit. We've got our.
Do we get there?
Oh, we've got to go back.
We should go now. We should go now.
But Casariel, we can't abandon our post.
She's just kind of entranced by what he's saying, and she's confused, but she's compelled.
I'm John. I'm gonna look at the man and look at the fire and look at Casariel and maybe even Carla, and I'm gonna try to determine, is there any kind of enchantment or magic or anything going on here?
It's hard to tell, but I mean, judging from what happened in the fire, that is definitely just freaking magic. Like,
Oh, yeah, that
you spit
looks
some
magic.
wine into a fire, and that is just that is just to enhance the story. That's definitely magic.
Okay.
Other than that, in terms of charming, like Casariel or something, it's hard to tell.
So he's gonna sort of gently grab her shoulder and try to get her to look at him and are you all right? Are you feeling okay? You seem out of sorts.
I would imagine I carry my mother's diary with me everywhere. Do I have it on me now?
You have it in your inventory, so yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out and say, just wait. I know I've heard that name before.
Right. He's gonna eye Stanimir a little bit hesitantly, if he's doing something to Casariel, he's gonna pay.
He's just sitting there taking another sip of his wine and swallowing it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Stanimir, did you know my mother? You do, don't you?
Me?
Yes.
Personally, I'm a traveler, as are all these people. But our leader, She knows all. Perhaps she has the answers you seek.
Have to go.
We can't go to this other land just on a whim. We can talk to your leader. She's here with you.
It is a short while travel, but it would be worth your while.
Right. Well, Casariel, we've got to get back soon, but maybe we can go talk to this person. If she knows anything, we've been looking for years, so we can't pass this opportunity up.
I understand that previous engagements are a thing. We're all indisposed.
There's that word again.
But perhaps, instead of traveling with us, we're traveling with carriages and horses. It would take a little while for us to reach the land that we foretold. But perhaps, and he looks around and he snaps his fingers in the air. He says, Lungari. And a large man with a black mustache and a beard walks up and he says, Aye. He says, Lungari, you still have travel arrangements to do some mercantile trading that you have to do soon. Perhaps you can take these 3 swifter than we can pack up and move. And he looks back at you 3 and he says, this will be a more swift way to get back and forth to Madame Eva. You can travel with us if you will, but Lungari here has a carriage and a horse. He can take you to Barovia within a day.
Within a day? Sarah, do we have any way to send word to the High Priestess that I can't remember his name? Do we have any way to send a word to her and let her know that something came up and we've got what was that word? Indisposed?
Are you saying this in private, by the way?
No,
Or
I'm not. I'm saying it to Casariel, but not hiding it.
Send her a missive.
If it's a message you need, we can send a messenger to the manor to bring a message to your boss. Is it?
Yes. I don't like this place, but yeah, we can't pass this up. You said there's something we can send a message in some way?
Yes. Perhaps Jesse and like a little boy, like a teenager, comes running up. He says, take a note of these fine people over here and bring it over to Daggerford.
All right. Yeah.
Carla rips out a page from her notebook and hands you her quill to write the note.
Well, maybe an hour.
He hands that to Casariel and says, let her know that we're going to be.
So he hands it back to Carla, and there we go.
Dictated, but not read.
John, I see that you're hesitant, but think of it this way. She's been looking for her mother. This is the first real lead we've had, and there's a possible cursed prince in a domain that is other than this world. I mean, how are you not curious?
No. She's looking for my mother as well. She'll understand.
Yes. If this turns out, well, yes. Okay. She'll understand we are on standing orders to follow any lead. If it turns out to be nothing, well, she knows that we have to look, at least. Okay.
My promise to you is that the journey will be swift. We understand that time is a precious commodity.
Yeah. All right, I suppose. Let's send a letter.
Right.
Yeah. It's just going to be basically say that we found a lead. Sarah will probably...
Yeah.
We gone for the weekend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The essence of the letter is that
I've saved up vacation days.
I believe these people know where my mother is. I believe that you would wish us to follow this lead Forgive us for neglecting our detail, but we have asked that the Duchess's guards take care of you, and we will be back within the hour.
I think he said
the hour.
day. I think he said it would be a day trip.
We will
Within
be
the day.
back within the day. Right. Okay. Sorry. We'll be back within the day. Actually, she heard hour, so she's gonna write hour.
She's not reading this aloud for the
Sure.
rest of us.
Yeah, and John's not
Yeah.
reading it, so
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
So
did the music stop for you guys too? I think that it's not on a loop here, or no, it was on a loop. Did it pause?
Should be.
Yeah,
if you go
Oh, sorry. It's not on
to
loop. There we go.
go to the little music-y guy and go to global volume controls.
Yeah.
Is it anything in there?
there's no way
Is
for
it
me to
for
replay
me?
the music though.
Is it playing for you now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's my bad. I know what it is. Like, quick OOC, everyone. This is our first time that we're playing it through Foundry, and that means that technical difficulties might be part of our recordings. So do pardon. But I know what it is, and I'll look at it for it right now.
Yeah, it's no worries. I'll keep on it. Honestly, it actually was good because we were having that whole back and forth, and there was no music going on, which totally made sense. Everything went down for a bit. So
Then
no
we came to
technical
a conclusion
difficulties.
that came back up.
Yeah.
Entirely intentional.
The party flared up again now that we have an agreement. Yes.
All right. Let's go.
So, would you prefer to travel with Lungari? That would be the swiftest route.
Yes, I believe
Absolutely.
time is of the essence.
Time is only precious for those who are afraid of running out of it, but yes, swifter the better.
He gives a Stanimir gives a cursory glance at you, Carla, at you saying that, and he says, "That is an interesting way to look at things."
Well, I'm ready to crack this wide open. How about you two?
I'm ready to get this over with.
All right. So Stanimir approaches all of you with a wonderful, beautiful, large horse that is drawing a carriage that has room for all of you to sit either on the side or even inside of it. It is packed to the brim with all sorts of like barrels and chests and whatnot. This just seems to be like either the bounty of a fruitful week of trading, or this is the start of a bountiful week of fruitful trading. In any case, you are more than welcome to go on the carriage together with Lungari. I imagine you guys all want to sit in the carriage.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah. Sitting in the carriage, you immediately depart from the place that you are right now, hitting the road and swiftly moving eastward from Daggerford Manor. And as you are traveling, it takes a little while, a couple of hours, quite a few hours actually. What are you doing while you're traveling?
Carla is penning her recent exploits at Daggerford Manor, but you can see she's sort of like rushing through the bits of like, okay, there was a missing ring or whatever, and now I'm entering a new domain, and she's trying to get this sort of done before she enters her new story. That's what she spends her time doing.
I am looking through my mother's journal and pointing out to John the places where I think it's significant. This might be dangerous.
Danger we can handle, but it's just a matter of will it lead to where we want it to go.
That's it, John. I know I'm going to find out. I know it.
John's going to divide his time between whenever Casariel gets his attention to show him something in the book, he'll pay attention fully to her, and talking with what was his name again? Start with an L.
Lungari.
You're talking with Lungari, getting a better idea of who these people are, and potentially like whatever he's willing to divulge, or if nothing else, than just what he's trading and who he's trading it with, and just making pleasant chat, trying to get to know him.
I'll allow that. Talk with me.
Lungari, your people seem very welcoming towards strangers. Very friendly.
We are often regarded as strangers ourselves. We know the
We appreciate your hospitality and your drink. Can you tell me a little bit about Stanimir? He seems to know a lot and be well traveled. What?
In our circles, it is pretty normal for the eldest to take charge. Stanimir is the oldest, so Stanimir is in charge. There are a lot of us. There are a lot of groups like this, but Madame Eva is the one that is the oldest, the wisest, and therefore the leader of all the different groups.
And she lives nearby and within a day's ride, you said.
Yes.
Oh. Yes. Is it true what he was talking about with the prince and the fighting and the tyrant?
Those are stories that are starting to become centuries old, but that doesn't mean that they're not true.
And with that, he'll just basically make pleasant small talk while talking with Casariel as well.
Okay. Casariel, like, you have a troubled look on your face. Do you want to chip in? I'm starting to recognize that look.
She's all kinds of troubled. She's shook. What is this curse? They mentioned the prince was cursed.
As the story goes, the prince, once a lord and noble, was governing the lands of Barovia with a strong but fair hand, has fallen to darkness. The extent of the curse I do not know, but most of the people that nowadays run into the prince say he's changed.
Changed? How?
He's grown rather cold. He's a different man.
Wait,
Sad.
you said these stories are centuries old. Is he an elf or some other, like, how old is this prince?
He must be centuries old by now, but he's still around. Perhaps he is an elf.
Be a halfling. Could be small.
Until this very moment, I forgot that you were even here.
Be honest, exact same to you too.
Touche. Fair.
You're like pretty furniture, aren't you? Yes. Do you, both of you want your names to be the same in the article, or should I change them aliases, you know?
I don't care.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to be writing about our adventures, so do you want your names changed for, you know, the sake of anonymity? That's something that people care about these days.
To be fair, if my mother reads about this in her stories, maybe it'll cheer her up somewhat.
What's your name? What's your mother's name?
Verenthall.
Should you read my articles? Oh, yes,
yeah.
Miss Verenthall.
Miss Verenthall.
I quite like her letters.
She writes letters.
Yeah, she writes some
she
fun
does.
letters.
I am a fan
Yes.
of yours.
I'm quite a fan of yours. I mean, I'm incredibly sorry about your mother, but this is the most fascinating thing that's ever happened. I mean, we're about to go to possibly, from what it sounds like, a different domain. To see a cursed prince. We could possibly find your mother, or at least figure out where she could be. It could be amazing. I would not have done this if it weren't for you. So, thank you.
Past, present, and future shall be the topics that Madame Eva will cover.
I guess we'll see when we get there.
Yes.
She is a wise woman, then.
Yes. The wisest.
Lungari, I believe that my mother has visited the realm you speak of. Do I look familiar to you? Would you have met her by chance?
With all due respect, I wish you would have looked familiar.
Just had to ask. How long will it take us to get there?
You'll be arriving shortly, he says. And looking around the carriage, the area of Daggerford is relatively lush. Like there's like trees, there's foliage. It's just lush area. During your travels, it starts to shift a little bit more towards pine trees and whatnot, and it gets a little bit more grim is too much to state, but if you start to lose vegetation and trees and grass, it starts to look a little bit more grim, if you will. And as you're traveling, Lungari will at some point call out to you and say, now this is something that everyone needs to see at least once in their lifetime. And as you are traveling down the road, in front of you, a very large stone wall and gate is looming on the horizon. And it looks nothing short of amazing, save for the fact that it's relatively badly kept. The wall is very high and very large. The iron gate in it is very long, very tall, and very large. And there's two large statues adorning each side of this gate. However, both of the statues look in complete disrepair. Both of them having lost their heads and various pieces of the armor. And the statues are positively crumbling. This should have looked amazing when this was constructed, but right now, it looks like it was amazing.
That is quite a structure.
A sad sight to see what time can do to a place.
Oh, it's beautiful. My goodness, I see what you mean.
The moment you said it's beautiful, oh, in the back.
Perfect timing.
It's our kind of place. It's the party.
What's happened to their heads? That certainly there's probably a story behind that.
Time, weather, and the occasional hazards. Unfortunately, takes a toll on everything, including man-made structure.
Seems specific, though, does it not? Like just the heads have fallen on both.
I am no stonemason, but I would imagine it's one of the thinnest parts of a structure.
John's like, yes, I suppose.
John being chunky.
he's svelte but built, yes.
So, yes.
Is there any heraldry on anything of note?
It's really hard to tell. It looks like there should have probably been on the shields, but the shields are like, they're moss covered and broken and whatnot. Above the gate, however, there is a plaque, like sort of like an inlay in the stone that has been carved out, and it's hard to see what that should be. But give me a perception check on that. Why not?
Come on, baby. Natural 20.
Wow.
Go.
Where's my phone?
20s galore.
That was I wish it was my first roll, but it was my second one. So yeah.
My first was a 1.
Well, my first was an 8.
I got a rock.
All right. It's broken. It's moss covered. It's not much to look at anymore. However, you do notice that in that inlay above the gate, there is indeed somewhat of a heraldry. It's hard to make out, but it looks somewhat like The first thing it reminds you of is somewhat like a dragon. That's what you would think it would be.
Okay. Ungari, does that mean anything? That symbol there above the gates?
If memory serves, that's his heraldry.
Mm. I think you're correct. That's very astute. Thank you.
I'm
It
sorry.
is the
What did he
prince's
say?
land.
That is what?
That is his
Oh.
heraldry.
Okay.
Oh,
It is his land, therefore it is his claim.
Hmm.
Carla has been investigating her mother's disappearance for a while. Would she have seen anything like this in that investigation?
Oof. I'm not gonna. I'm going to honor a roll for that, but it's just going to be a flat roll. Give me a D. Give me a D6 on that.
6, okay.
Yeah, I know where you're asking it, so like, it's fair.
A 5.
Honestly, it does look familiar, but you can't put your finger on it.
Hey.
and what is his name? The prince?
The prince's name is. And he closes his eyes for a second. He says, "It's." You'll have to forgive me. I forgot his name. Perhaps, and he points over to the side of the wall that you're approaching. He says, "It's been a long day's travel. Perhaps we should set up camp. Perhaps we should just take a rest. Tomorrow I might remember. For now, I honestly don't remember. It's been a long day, ma'am."
That makes sense. We've been traveling for a while. Let's go ahead and make camp and take a rest.
I shall park the horse close to the gate. We can have some food off the cart. Then we can sleep, and then we should head into Barovia.
Very well.
Exciting.
I think John will dismount and walk next to the cart and start just making sure that there's nothing running at them to cause a threat. He'll be there sort of guarding.
Perfect. The woods around you are not that thick, to be honest. Like it's sort of like you're not really in a mountain pass, but it's it's a little secluded area, if you will.
Mhm.
Especially with the wall on one side that basically blocks off sight on one side. Now that the evening is falling after almost a full day's travel, it does seem to be a little misty around here. It's not too cold, not too warm, but it is a little misty around here, so it is hard to get a good view too far out, but it seems you are perfectly alone at the moment. And as you make your way to the side of the road, Lungari lights a campfire and starts frying up some food for you.
I'll put full attention on Lungari and whatever he's cooking.
He's making a little bit off the cart and a little bit of what you found along your way. So he has a selection of a couple of different pieces of meat. He has a vegetable platter, if you would prefer that. And for drinks, he has plain water and wine.
Wine and meat it is.
Right? Carla, what would you have?
Oh yes, I'll eat whatever. I don't particularly care. But Carla kind of hastily just kind of takes whatever they're eating, and what she does is she roots around in her bag and she pulls out ghost hunting equipment, particularly her EMF reader. Extremely magnificent
Phantasm.
reader.
Apparatus.
Apparatus, yes.
Yeah.
She's workshopping the name. But she breaks out basically this little box that has a crystal ball in it, and has sort of like a little like clock at the end of it that has like hands but no numbers. And she begins sort of like walking around the campfire trying to get ghosts to sort of reach out to her. She's like, anybody here? Just make this turn a colour or move the hand. And she's going to start looking around, try to scope out what's here, reaching out
As
to
you
the
walk-
other world.
As you walk around, the hand will jiggle a little bit back and forth, and it seems to try to reach the side regions of the dead middle. So it seems that there is some activity, but to the untrained eye, it might look like that is just because you're walking around. However, you're way more skilled in the use of these devices, so this might mean something different to you entirely.
Okay, as soon as it starts moving, I'm like, are you there? Reach out. Use the crystal ball. And I kind of like hold it up as high as I can, which isn't that high, but you know, I hold it up
You
as
hear
high
a
as I can.
wolf. You hear a wolf crying in the background as you do that.
Shh, try to hear the ghosts. And I'm going to hold it out for a good like 5 minutes, just trying to get the crystal ball. Kind of, you know, when your phone runs out of signal, and you're trying to like,
Come on.
yeah, she's doing that sort of like around this general area.
Never use wolves for that again. Okay.
Yeah, or this sort of general area. Does anything happen with the crystal ball?
God, with the throw I just made, something has to happen.
Shit.
When there was a wolf
Yeah.
sound, John's gonna try to
As-
be more alert.
Awesome. So you're holding up in the air and you're like waving it about, right?
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to get something to like catch onto the signal.
Okay. What are you saying while you're doing that?
Ghosts, spirits, undead, reach out. Use this as a vessel.
As you do, lightning just erupts in the air with one strike. And nothing.
Oh, something's definitely here. She like packs it away, noticing that nothing is reaching out to that. And she takes off her cloak and she spreads it onto the floor. And on it, you can see stitched is a Ouija board pattern on the back. And she pulls out her push knife, which at the end has just a little circle that she uses as sort of its guiding compass. That she plops it down and she waits and she says, "Spirits, use this as your guide. Talk to me."
All right.
I was just thinking planchette. Like I had. Oh my god, this is great.
Surprise. Okay. I will allow you 2 questions.
Who is here? Huh? Oh my! Oh, this is wonderful progress. Okay.
Am I near
okay,
enough to
let's take
see this happening?
I don't know. Are you?
What does it look like? Yeah, I imagine that when I heard the wolf, he's keeping track of where everyone is because he doesn't necessarily care much for her, but he doesn't want her hurt. So he's like keeping an eye on her. What does this look like from an outsider's perspective, Carla?
From an outsider's perspective, you see her like kneeling in the dirt. She now is like exposed sort of to the elements because her cloak is off and it's spread on the floor. You see mostly her knife. It's kind of, unless you're actually looking down at the cloak, it's very hard to see the stitching that's inlaid there. With all of the Ouija board, kind of her pseudo one. But what you could see is basically her watching intently at her cloak and this push knife.
Okay. If I imagine seeing you get all excited, he's gonna come closer and like see what's going on. So
There's ghosts here, John. John, we've made contact with the other side. Oh, this is... It's like Christmas. It's like my birthday's all rolled into one. I've had 103 of them. They're just... ghosts. Curses. A mystery. Oh, my goodness. Okay. What should we ask it next? What should we...
What is this? What are you doing?
I'm contacting people from the beyond.
Are you...
Do you know who it is?
No, I asked and they just said that they're here.
I'm right next to you. Why are you frightened
I-
by my presence?
Sorry.
I've been here for a long time.
He's very intent. I don't know if we should be trying to reach out to beings on another side. Who do you even know what you're talking to?
Well, that's the point. Wouldn't you prefer to know that they're there than they're not?
Yes.
This is gonna lead to trouble.
We have... Okay, question. What should our next question be?
I imagine that's not your question to the Ouija board.
What do you want to eat?
No.
We have vegetables and meat.
What is the name?
What's your name? E-R-I-C. Eric.
Do we know anyone named Eric? Are you...
Is there anyone named Eric in your book?
Carla, is this real? Are you just moving this thing? What's going on?
No, I'm not moving it. I would never, please. No, Eric. Oh my goodness.
There is something in my book. And I will open it to the page where the arches behind us are drawn. And I'll show it to them.
Right?
She's been here. My mother has been here. Do you see?
If you want to show it to the viewers as well, just move it up a little bit.
Do you see this
Okay.
fantastic drawing? Can't you tell it's the same gates?
It does look like
As a quick OOC break, like I really want to take a second for this. In terms of like backstory and working together with all of you, it's been amazing. But this part, the fact that you've been writing that in that book, it looks so amazing. That deserves credit.
Can you hold it
So
up
cool.
so that you're full, like it covers most of your cameras? Because it's perfect. That's good. Yeah. So that's awesome. Okay, cool.
That is just next level immersion. I love it, and that deserves credit.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was
It
just a
says-
prop, but wow, that's amazing.
No.
There's a
Oh,
lot
I
in there.
actually went over with Papa what's in here so that it's all
That's
allowed.
fantastic.
So she's been to these gates. I mean, is her name Eric?
No. No. Her name is Celestia.
I don't know. Maybe she had a middle name. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm
Looking
quite
for-
excited.
Right.
Ghosts.
Right.
Yes.
No, sure.
Yes.
Do you want to ask another question?
Oh, I mean, if it's in any way related to your mother, you should ask. So put your hands on the push knife. Put your hands down.
But
on it.
she's not dead.
But-
Right.
No,
but
but
if you
Eric
put
might
her-
have known her. Yeah.
Right. That's true. I should touch it?
Yes. So just put your hands on it, and let it guide you.
Okay.
Ask it a question.
Sean is sort of unbuttoning the clasp on his maul. He's a little uneasy.
Eric. I'm Casariel. I am looking for my mother. Her name is Celisaria, and my father, Varen. You know them.
You feel a strange energy emanating from the push knife as you ask this question. It takes a couple of seconds, and then you feel the push knife moving.
I immediately jump back. What was that?
A ghost no longer wants to talk.
Sean's got
Hate
his
when they do
maul
that.
out.
She scoops up the knife and kind of like tucks it back into the holster that she has kind of hidden here underneath her arm. And then she takes the cloak and puts it back on. Ties it. She's like,
You wear that
like
thing?
whatever. yes, it's convenient. I mean, carrying around a board is quite hefty.
And you're comfortable with it making those... I don't know. It's
Yes.
channeling some kind of darkness through it, and I'm...
Lungari is just poking the fire and just tending to the food that is burning over there. As you guys are like ready and just putting up your cloak again, he hands like a bit of food to Carla, and he says, "You also dabble in the occult, yes?"
It's mostly because I have to, but yeah.
It's interesting material, isn't it?
I just think there's more to it than the traditional sort of readings of will I be married and stuff that seems to come out of it than anything else. Or the, is Fluffy still there and does he still care about his fucking cat? Of course he doesn't. But there's so much there that's so unexplored. We don't know how it works, and it's fascinating. I mean, why not dabble?
My father actually tried his hand at a tarot deck at some point. He hands a bit of food to Casariel as well, as he is speaking. He says, "My father also dabbled in the occult in trying to read tarot cards, and nothing good came of it for him. Interestingly, though, Madame Eva also uses the tarot deck, but she can see the future." He hands a bit of food to John as well. Please.
Does her future tend to be accurate?
The one that Madame Eva sees tends to be correct.
A true seer, then. Fabulous.
John's gonna lean to Casariel and say, "What's a tarot deck?"
Well, we'll have to get readings from her, just to ensure that we won't die in this place.
Aye. Lugari also chows down on the food that he's just made. You share some more stories with one another as you're eating and drinking. The night just gets a little colder and a little darker, and all of you fall a little bit more tired as, the night progresses. Perhaps it should feel like it's time to set up camp. Better yet, it feels like you should have set up camp already, because all three of you feel really tired. Really, really tired. In fact, so tired that you fall asleep on the spot.
Casariel, I've got this shiv.
Yeah. We like fall. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got the first watch. Ugh. Right.
All three of you are swept into a slumber, apparently induced by something that you might have eaten or drink.
Son of a bitch. Ngari,
And-
I did not see that coming.
After a little while, and it's hard to tell how long that was, all three of you, separate from each other, wake to find that not only Lungari has gone, but along with him leaving, apparently he felt the need to liberate all of you of all your belongings. And with that, we're going to end the episode for today. We'll see you.
Even my lucky jockstrap?
All
Sorry.
of
Okay. All right.
but the clothes on your back.
Okay, fine.
We have the tarot. We have the Ouija board, guys. Don't worry, we got the Ouija board.
He's taking your cape.
Oh, my maul.
I'm guessing this is gone as well.
Yes.
I'm going to fucking kill him.
He took my maul. He took your mother's book. He took
The artificer is going to kill me. Oh my goodness.
he took Carla's coat.
All of my ghost hunting equipment, my co-worker's going to kill me. That was really expensive.
So no weapons, no armor, nothing.
If there's a large branch, John's gonna break it off, and I'm good.
We'll see.
Are
what
we
can
done?
find next week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ah.
Okay.
So I hope
Very
you guys
nice.
enjoyed that. That was the very first episode, and while that most of it wasn't actually Curse of Strahd, but it was our intro towards how we would enter Curse of Strahd. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed playing that. I figured we had a good run.
Yes. Oh, I had a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you to our magnificent DM for homebrewing the hell out of that and coming up with some very interesting characters and hooks. As much as John was not interested in a lot of the stuff going on, I totally was. That was really cool.
Great.
It was very fun playing John for that.
So, if I'm not mistaken, this first episode will go live on April 1st, which is not a joke. As a matter of fact, if you're seeing this right now, you know it's not a joke. The next episode will go live in 2 days on Sunday and then every Sunday afterward. So, make sure to catch us every Sunday because you want to watch this.
Yep. Remember to
You
check,
better. That's
remember
a
to check
threat.
out the links in the description. There's going to be some very cool things down there, such as I believe a Discord link and potentially other links later on, depending on how much interest this gets. But thank you all so much for watching, and thank you everybody here for playing. Marissa and Anne, thank you so much for playing our fantastic Casariel and Carla. I don't hate
Thank you
Carla.
for playing John.
I don't hate
I don't
Carla.
hate
John may be a little bit frustrated with her at times, but yes, this is working out nicely.
All in character.
Wonderful. All right, we'll catch you next week. So we'll see you there.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.